Chapter 29-24. Even if they couldn't kill him, they could at least severely injure him. It would be easy to kill him later. That was indeed the case. The female prodigy next to him also said, "I have a Dharma treasure here that can damage a person's soul. When the time comes, we can attack together. I don't believe that we can't kill this kid." The three of them sneered malevolently. But soon they were stunned. It wasn't Lin Xian who attacked, but a peerless beauty who was next to Lin Xian. It was the Saintess of Jade Lake. She had the 5-colored phoenix phantom on her body just now. The female prodigy frowned. The short young man sneered. "That's even better. We can capture her and hand her over to Divine Phoenix Ridge. Divine Phoenix Ridge will definitely give us a precious treasure in exchange." That was a good idea. The tall prodigy also nodded. The three of them smiled malevolently. At the same time, they heaved a sigh of relief. They didn't have to face Lin Xian immediately. This allowed their success rate to increase a little. At the same time, Murong Qiqing had already arrived in front of the fiery flower. She stretched out her slender hands and grabbed at the flower. There was a hint of joy on her face, as if she didn't notice the danger around her. Buzz! The prodigy of the Redwing clan who was hiding in the dark made her move. Who was the one who attacked? A red longsword appeared in her hand. It seemed to be made of feathers. It was abnormally strange. It emitted a scorching and terrifying aura. The longsword pierced through the void. The longsword was pointed at Murong Qiqing's forehead. It was obvious that she wanted to kill her in one strike. If she didn't know that there was someone here, Murong Qiqing would probably be injured or even killed. But now, she already knew that there was someone hiding in the dark who wanted to attack her. Therefore, although Murong Qiqing seemed to be careless, she was always prepared. The moment the void fluctuated, Murong Qiqing shouted. Her beautiful eyes emitted a bright light. She raised her slender hands and slammed them forward. Buzz! The runes in the sky shone and turned into a phoenix that rushed out. Murong Qiqing hadn't received a title. She had been keeping a low profile recently, but that didn't mean that she was weak. She possessed the most powerful bloodline power, so how could her strength be weak? He was definitely standing at the top of the human race. Moreover, as an extreme Dao Holy Land, the Jade Lake sacred ground had the inheritance of a great emperor. Although he had only come into contact with Murong Qiqing for now, its power was still extremely terrifying. Boom! Boom! The sound of being knocked back rang out as the killing sword made of feathers was smashed into pieces. Murong Qiqing's palm shone even brighter as it pressed toward the void. In an instant, the phoenix silhouette enveloped the woman who had attacked. "Damn it, this is impossible!" The woman's expression changed drastically as she screamed. At the same time, her body materialized and she quickly retreated. She was too shocked. Her opponent was actually able to break her attack with a single move, and was even attacking her in the opposite direction. She simply couldn't believe it. In her eyes, only Lin Xian was a threat. Other than Lin Xian, they didn't care about anyone else. However, the woman beside Lin Xian was so powerful. Damn it, was it because she had the bloodline of the 5-colored phoenix? The primordial woman's expression was cold as she moved extremely quickly. The pair of fiery red wings on her back flapped and carried her away quickly. Kill! At the same time, the other two prodigies of the Redwing clan who were hiding in the dark also made their move. The tall youth snorted coldly as a fiery red spear pierced toward Lin Xian like a bolt of red lightning. The other short youth had a dagger in his hand. His target was Shinjinqiu. The two of them appeared very suddenly and were very fast. Their strength was no weaker than the woman who had attacked before. It could be said that they were going to kill him. However, Lin Xian sneered. He had already discovered their tracks. When he saw them attack, he snorted coldly and stretched out his hand. It was like a golden mountain as it slammed forward. "You're courting death!" The tall youth from the Redwing clan roared angrily. How dare Lin Xian fight him barehanded? He was underestimating him. He swore that he would chop off Lin Xian's hand. Clang! An earth-shattering sound was heard. The fiery red spear collided with Lin Xian's hand, causing sparks to fly. The surrounding space quickly shattered as the runes in the sky trembled non-stop. What? The tall youth from the Red Wing clan widened his eyes in disbelief. That was because Lin Xian had grabbed his spear and swung it forcefully. Clang! The spear broke into two halves. As for him, he was also sent flying by an enormous power. Lin Xian had broken his weapon with his bare hands. This was driving him crazy. In the next moment, he screamed before he could react. Lin Xian leaped high into the air and stomped down on Yifutian's body. With a loud boom, his body was trampled into pieces. Poof! Ah! Blood splattered everywhere. At the same time, a scream was heard from the other side. It was not Xinjingqiu, but the short youth who had attacked the neurosphere. Although Xinjingqiu looked innocent, she was not weak at all. Purple qi surged around her body and turned into a purple gourd. A wisp of qi knocked away the short youth's dagger. The other 3 wisps of qi pierced through the short youth's body. Feathers fell from the short youth's body as he screamed in agony. Damn it, how could this be? They roared as if they had gone mad. They couldn't believe it. The short youth retreated frantically. The tall youth who had his body crushed was also regenerating his body in the distance. His face was extremely pale. The other primordial female was sent flying by Murong Qingqing. Blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Damn it! They could not believe that the 3 of them were too strong. They could accept it if Lin Xian had injured them. However, what was going on with Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu? They had never heard of such a powerful saintess in the human race. Damn it, they were too careless. They had underestimated them. They had to leave quickly. They were not to be trifled with. The 3 of them discussed for a while and turned to leave. You want to leave? Did I allow you to leave? Lin Xian sneered. The other party had tried to assassinate them in the dark, and they wanted to leave after failing the assassination. How could there be such a good thing? Was he someone who could be assassinated so easily? He waved his hand, and the 9 suns' divine fire in the sky formed a large net that enveloped the entire world. Bang! 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 The 3 prodigies from the Red Wing clan crashed into the flame net and were knocked back. Damn it, how dare you stop us? They were furious. We are from the Red Wing clan. So what? Lin Xian was extremely powerful. He even dared to kill the 10th generation of the Silver Group, let alone the 3 of them. How dare you assassinate me? Kneel down and accept your death. At that moment, he was like a demon god, and his body shone brightly. Chapter 29-25. The 3 crimson lunar prodigies' hearts pounded wildly when they heard that. Oh no, he's going to make a move. They regretted it now. They had been too arrogant. Previously, they thought that they would succeed if they launched a sneak attack. Who would have thought that their opponent was so powerful that he was not afraid of their sneak attack at all? Moreover, their opponent was very powerful. Even the 10th generation of the Crimson Lunar Prodigy had been crippled by him, let alone them. Don't fight him head-on. Hide so that he won't be able to find you. The 3 of them flashed, and instantly disappeared from the void. They disappeared again. Murong Qingqing exclaimed. Xinjingqiu also frowned. They could not find any trace of them. Damn it, they should have a Dharma treasure. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Xiao Xuanzi, hurry up and kill them. Snatch the treasure. Lin Xian did not say anything. His eyes shone with a piercing golden light as he activated his heavenly divine eyes. A pair of golden eyes appeared in the sky and looked down mercilessly. Boom! Suddenly, he waved his fist and smashed it in a certain direction in the void. With a bang, the void split open, and 3 figures were sent flying. Blood splattered everywhere, and many of their bodies were torn apart. Damn it, how did you discover us? The 3 of them were about to go crazy. Their faces were filled with disbelief. It's over. We've been tricked. That brat already knew about our existence. The 3 of them finally understood that the other party must have discovered them in advance. Otherwise, the assassination earlier would have been a success. But how is that possible? They had a precious treasure from the Crimson Wing clan that could conceal their auras. Even an invincible king would not be able to detect it. No one below the sage level would be able to detect it. How did the other party discover us? Look, what's that? One of them pointed at the sky, his body trembling. Even his teeth were chattering. The other two looked up and felt their scalps go numb. A pair of golden eyes was looking down at the world. Damn it, he knows eye techniques. In an instant they realized that the other party must have mastered an incomparably terrifying eye technique. That was how he discovered their tracks. But what kind of eye technique could be so powerful? However, the situation was critical, and they did not have time to think too much. The other party's huge golden hand grabbed out once again, covering the sky and covering the earth. It was like the five-finger mountain, enveloping the entire world. The 5 fingers gradually closed together, and the surrounding space kept shattering and squeezing. The pressure was so great that even their bones were broken. Damn it, get lost! The 3 geniuses of the Crimson Wings race roared out in a frenzy. Their bodies shone with a radiance that could destroy everything. However, he was unable to escape from Lin Xian's grasp. They were in despair. They were also geniuses of their respective clans and were extremely powerful. Killing people was as easy as slaughtering dogs. However, in the hands of Lin Xian, they seemed to have become ants. Bang, bang, bang in the end, their bodies shattered and turned into a bloody mist. The 3 souls floated out, wanting to escape. The god's eye in the sky spun and emitted wisps of soul flames. They floated out and ignited the souls of the 3. Ah no, damn it, you dare to kill me! Ah! Spare my life, spare my life. I will never find trouble with you again. Angry roars, threats, and pleas for mercy rang out, but it was useless. In an instant their souls were burned clean. In the sky, a feather floated down. It was sparkling and translucent, giving off a strange glow. Lin Xian reached out and grabbed the feather, studying it carefully. Then, he frowned and said, "This must be the thing that hid the aura of the 3. Really, let me see." The Crimson Dragon's eyes lit up after receiving the feather. This must be the feather of the Crimson Wings race's sage. It has such a remarkable ability. Qing Cheng, this feather is for you. Lin Xian gave the feather to Murong Qingqing. Because Murong Qingqing had just been found out that she had the 5-colored phoenix bloodline, the people of the Divine Phoenix Ridge might harm her in the future. If she had this feather, she could hide her body at any time. It would be a good way to escape. Murong Qingqing did not stand on ceremony. She took the feather and imprinted her mark on it. Then, she put it away. Whoosh, the snow-white monkey's figure flashed and picked up the flaming fruit. Then, it jumped onto Lin Xian's shoulder excitedly. Lin Xian said, "Good, good, good. Little guy, you've done well." He waved his hand and divided the flaming fruit into 5 portions, 1 for each of them. "Haha, then I won't stand on ceremony." The Crimson Dragon swallowed it directly. Then, it stared at the others while drooling. The snow-white monkey hugged a flaming fruit and ate it happily. Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu also swallowed the flaming fruit. Lin Xian sat cross-legged. The 9 suns' divine fire on his body bloomed and quickly absorbed the pure energy inside. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu did the same. Not long after, Lin Xian opened his eyes. The divine fire on his body shone even brighter. "Kid, you've become stronger again!" After the Crimson Dragon absorbed the blood essence of the 3 Redwing clan members, it flew over. The dragon blood on its body surged. Its terrifying aura shocked Lin Xian. In terms of bloodline, even the Fire Dragon King could not compare to the Crimson Dragon. He wondered if the Dragon Crown Prince of the Dragon Clan or the Crimson Dragon's bloodline was stronger. While Lin Xian was absorbing the flaming fruit, other battles were happening in other parts of the hall. There were many treasures here, some broken weapons, and some spiritual herbs. Naturally, there were many battles. Among them, the most intense battles were between the humans and the 10,000 Archean tribes. Both sides did not hold back. Not only that, but there were also clashes between the humans. There were even massacres between the 10,000 Archean tribes. The originally dark red floor was now dyed red with blood. There were many new corpses on the ground. It was a hair-raising sight. Let's go. Lin Xian and the others continued on their way. Along the way, they found some broken storage rings and some spiritual herbs. Gradually, they realized that the items in the hall could no longer satisfy them. They wanted to see what was behind the hall. After all, such a magical palace could not only have one hall. Everyone else felt the same way. Hence, they gathered in the center again. Many people were overjoyed. Of course, there were also some who felt heartache. Many people had died. Moreover, this was only the beginning. Who knew if there were other magical places in Skyfire City? How many geniuses would die because of the heavenly fire this time? Someone sighed. That's right. It was not easy to get out alive, let alone find treasures. Many of the ancient tribe members gritted their teeth. They could not accept that the humans, especially the powerful geniuses, had killed their members. Ah! Who dares to kill the geniuses of the Redwing clan? Suddenly, a roar sounded, shaking the 9 heavens. Everyone's bodies trembled, and they all turned their heads to look. Chapter 29-26. On the left, a man with wings and feathers all over his body roared crazily. His body emitted a monstrous aura that suppressed the surroundings. Everyone's expression changed. Damn it, an invincible king! He was actually an invincible king. The man with feathers was indeed an invincible king. An invincible king below 500 years old, and a prodigy of the ancient royal family. This person's strength was absolutely terrifying. The human cultivators trembled. Under normal circumstances, those below 500 years old were mostly of the younger generation. These people's strength was heaven-defying, and they could fight above their level. Killing an invincible king would not be a problem. However, their cultivation was at the level of an 8-star king, a peerless almighty. However, the other party was an invincible king. Coupled with his talent in fighting above his level, the other party's strength was unimaginable. Even the primeval lifeforms and other Archean chosen felt their eyelids twitch. The members of the 3 archaic theocrats also frowned. What was this Redwing king doing? To be honest, although they were high and mighty and did not put the other ancient royal family members in their eyes this time, there were a few prodigies from the ancient royal family who were worthy of their attention. Because they were all invincible kings, and they were all young kings. Red Moon King was one of them. Some of the ancient race members who were on good terms with the Redwing tribe asked. Redwing King said with a sullen face. 3 prodigies of my Redwing tribe have been killed. Who did it just now? Everyone in the hall was shocked. Previously, everyone was busy fighting for the treasures here, and even Redwing King did not notice. Moreover, he did not think that anyone would dare to attack them. Therefore, they were very surprised that 3 prodigies had fallen. The other ancient creatures from the Redwing tribe were also roaring. Who was it? Hurry up and kneel down and accept your death. We can give you a quick death. Otherwise, if we find you, we will tear you to pieces and make you suffer a fate worse than death. Damn it, who dared to kill the prodigies of the Redwing tribe? The ancient creatures from the Redwing tribe looked around. This scene caused the humans to panic. However, some of the prodigies from the 10,000 ancient races were very dissatisfied. However, when they felt Redwing King's cold gaze, their hearts skipped a beat, and they did not say anything. However, he still snorted coldly. Everyone was shocked by this scene. Lin Xian, in particular, narrowed his eyes. It seemed like the 10,000 ancient races were not of one mind. There were many internal conflicts, and no one was willing to submit to the other. Let's go. The Fire Dragon King turned around and led the members of the nest of 10,000 dragons forward. No one dared to stop him. The people from the Redwing clan were also silent. They didn't even dare to look. There was nothing they could do about it. Although they were strong, the nest of 10,000 dragons was stronger than them. After the nest of 10,000 dragons, Shen Huangling also led a group of people forward. They wanted to be the first to explore further. The others wanted to leave as well, but King Redfeather snorted and looked around coldly. Those people were so scared that they quickly stopped in their tracks. Among them, the Golden Rocks, the Silver clans, and a few other top clans that were no weaker than the Redwing clans also left with their people. The others were left here because no one could compete with Redfeather King. Tell me, who killed the genius of my clan? Or did someone see who did it? You can tell me. The 10,000 ancient races have always been on good terms. Why would we attack you? Immediately, a few of the ancient races spoke up. The others also chimed in one after another. We can't do it, but I think it's very likely that the humans did it. That's right, it's the humans. Only they would be so reckless as to attack us. Many of the ancient races sneered and pointed the finger at the humans. Hearing this, the humans' faces turned green. Bullsh*T, why would it be us? What evidence do you have? That's right. These people were furious. They didn't want to be thought of as the murderer. King Redfeather was too powerful. He was probably even more terrifying than Bai Qianshan. After all, Bai Qianshan was only a peerless almighty, but King Redfeather was an invincible king. The people from the Redwing clan stared at the human martial artists with unfriendly expressions. Who was it? Stand out. Wherever their gazes landed, the human martial artists trembled. King Redfeather's mind was clearer. He said that ordinary human martial artists couldn't kill their prodigies, not even the saints. It had to be the top prodigies of the human race. That was true. This was indeed the case. The human martial artists were panic-stricken. The weaker martial artists let out a sigh of relief, but the top martial artists were frowning. Especially the sacred grounds of their clans. They were facing a great enemy. Among them, Bi clan, Gu clan, Daoi's sacred ground, Jade Pool, Alcade, Grand Xia dynasty, Myriad Buddha temple, and others were all facing a great enemy. After all, their saints were the top prodigies and had the ability to kill each other. Brother Lin Xian, what should we do? Murong Qingqing asked through voice transmission. Lin Xian replied, Don't worry about it. Don't speak. Leave it to me. Firstly, when he killed them, the Crimson Dragon had set up a layer of array. No one could see it. Secondly, the whole process was very short. He killed them almost instantly. He believed that no evidence would be left behind. Therefore, he wouldn't admit it. Of course, if the Red Feather tribe still wanted to attack him, he wouldn't mind playing with them. The king of the Red Feather tribe glanced at Yu Wadao, the Alcade sage Wuchen, the Grand Xiao prince, and Lin Xian. These people looked solemn, but they weren't afraid. They were prodigies and could suppress everything. Although the king of the Red Feather tribe was strong, they still had the ability to fight. King, I suspect it's this kid. That's right. Only this kid would dare to attack our Redwing clan. Many of the Red Feather tribe members stared at Lin Xian. The other primordial beings and archaic geniuses also walked over, their eyes flashing with a cold light. That's right. Lin Xian was very strong and arrogant. He didn't hesitate to kill the 10,000 Archean tribe members. It was as if they were killing human martial artists. This made them mad and scared at the same time. But now, they were gloating because Lin Xian had offended the king of the Red Feather tribe. That was a young primordial king. His strength was definitely heaven-defying. Lin Xian probably wouldn't be able to fight him. Kid, are you the one who did it? The king of the Red Feather tribe asked. Where's the evidence? Lin Xian sneered. He didn't admit or deny it. Instead, he asked for evidence. If you don't have evidence, don't talk nonsense. You should have heard of this saying. Disaster comes from the mouth. So I advise you to think carefully before you speak. Lin Xian spoke again. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. The primordial creatures were also in an uproar. Lin Xian dared to threaten the king of the Red Feather tribe. Chapter 29-27. Heavens, this kid really doesn't know what's good for him. That's right, the Redwing tribe already suspected him. Now that this kid is so arrogant, the Red Wing King will definitely not let him go. Damn this kid, he's too despicable. I'll kill him. The archaic creatures of the Red Wing clan were also enraged. A few of them looked gloomy. The Red Wing King's eyes shone with a fiery red light. It was like a red sword piercing through the void. He stared at Lin Xian. Good kid, you have guts. I suspect that you're the one who did it. Kneel down obediently, kowtow and accept your death. His voice was incomparably cold. Lin Xian was not afraid. He said indifferently. I've said it. Where's the evidence? You want evidence? Simple. I'll capture you and search your soul. Then I'll know. The Red Wing King also stood out. His powerful aura suppressed the surroundings, causing everyone to be frightened. They couldn't breathe. At this moment, the human race's faces were ugly. Especially the warriors from the Immortal Palace, they looked as if they were facing a great enemy. However, there was an exception. That was the previous saint of the Purple Dawn Holy Land. He was ecstatic. Attack! Attack! Kill this kid! To be honest, he was very eager for the Red Wing King to attack Lin Xian and kill Lin Xian. As long as Lin Xian was dead, Xinjingqiu would be his. Therefore, he was looking forward to it. Brother Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu were also very worried. After all, the Red Wing King was not an ordinary ancient prodigy. Lin Xian waved his hand to calm the two of them. He looked at the Red Wing King and said coldly, Don't you want to know the result from me? Sure. 3 moves. If you can block 3 of my moves, I'll tell you. What? Lin Xian actually dared to attack the Red Wing King. And he was so arrogant. Those primordial lifeforms were going crazy. The other primordial elites were also stunned. They looked at Lin Xian as if they were looking at an idiot. Did this brat really have no idea of life and death? Or was he tired of living? What a brat, he was indeed insolent. However, it's a pity that you're too arrogant. Do you think that just because you defeated Bai Qianshan, you can contend against me? Let me tell you, I am the real invincible king. My strength is above Bai Qianshan's. You have no chance of winning against me. So you agree? Lin Xian asked. Red Feather King waved his hand. Kid, don't talk about defeating me. If I take a step back within 3 moves, I'll admit defeat. Okay, that's what you said. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being impolite. Lin Xian snorted coldly, his eyes shining brightly. At this moment, the god of the 9 suns rise was released, suppressing the area. It was like a peerless overlord, causing people to tremble. Brat, I will let you know what despair is in front of me. Red Feather King's entire body was covered in flames. His red feathers fluttered in the wind. The dazzling divine light was so dazzling that people couldn't open their eyes. His gaze was even more so like a divine rainbow, clashing with the golden gaze, exploding in the sky like brilliant fireworks. The first punch, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. With a boom, the 9 suns' divine body shone brightly, as if 10,000 lightning bolts were about to fall. They trembled and retreated quickly. It was too terrifying. Lin Xian's strength was indeed incomparably powerful. The immemorial creatures also retreated frantically. Do you think Lin Xian can win? What a joke! Red Feather King was such a powerful existence. Just wait, he will definitely lose this time. They discussed animatedly. The immemorial creatures of the Red Feather clan sneered. They had absolute confidence in their young king. Red Feather King stood there like a demon god. The red feathers on his body bloomed, and the surrounding void could not withstand it. Boom! Lin Xian made his move. His golden fist shone brightly like a golden crow as it pierced through the void and charged toward Lin Xian. Small fry, break for me! Red Feather King was disdainful. The blood in his body surged, and a fierce energy burst out, causing people to tremble. He formed a strange hand seal with both hands. Get lost! The red flames on his body jumped and formed an ancient shield in front of him. In the next moment, the golden fist and the red shield collided. With a boom, the entire world exploded. The huge palace shook, and cracks spread all around. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. Caw. Suddenly, the red shield made a cracking sound and shattered into pieces. However, the golden fist also disappeared into thin air. It was blocked. The two were evenly matched. The human warriors exclaimed, and the immemorial creatures screamed. The immemorial creature of the Red Feather clan laughed wildly. What Central Emperor Lin Xian? In front of Red Feather King, he could not withstand a single blow. That was, King Red Feather could block his strongest attack with just a wave of his finger. These people laughed crazily. Red Feather King grinned. I told you you're not my opponent. Not to mention 3 moves, even 300 moves will not be able to shake me. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. As expected of the invincible king, he was indeed powerful. But so what? The punch just now was just a test. Next, he would use his real attack. Boom! He punched out again, and the terrifying 9 suns divine fire spun in the sky. Soon, a large cauldron was formed above his fist. The large cauldron was hazy and emitted a heavy aura, as if it was refined with immortal gold. As soon as it appeared, the void collapsed, and the raging flames spread. That is? The Celestial Emperor Cauldron? The Yi family warriors were the first to scream. They were shocked and could not believe what they were seeing. When the others heard this, they felt dizzy. Their heads were about to explode. What? The Celestial Emperor Cauldron? You are saying that the other party used the Celestial Emperor Cauldron? Damn it, how is that possible? The Celestial Emperor Cauldron was an extreme weapon. Not to mention the human race, even the 10,000 immemorial races were going crazy. The faces of the immemorial prodigies changed. It was as if they were facing an extreme weapon. Yu Wudao's eyes shone with a cold light. The Great Dragon Sword Soul was simulated by the Great Dragon Sword Soul. One of the immemorial prodigies screamed. The others were envious. Was this the power of the Great Dragon Sword Soul? It was hard to imagine that he could simulate an extreme weapon with just a raise of his hand. At this moment, these people were all tempted. If they could obtain the Great Dragon Sword Soul, their strength would go through a heaven-defying change. Everyone looked at Lin Xian with burning eyes. However, when they felt the aura emitted from Lin Xian's fist, they shrank back. King Redwing's pupils shrank. Humph, it's just an imitation. Do you really think it's an extreme weapon? You want to suppress me? What a joke! He snorted in disdain, and the light on his body became even brighter. Today, I will let you know what it means to be unparalleled in strength. The feathers on his body burned fiercely, and his 2 wings were like heavenly blades. They slashed the void and collided with the Celestial Emperor Cauldron. Chapter 29-28. With a loud boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The surrounding space quickly shattered. King Qiyu let out a muffled groan as the wings behind his back dimmed. Countless feathers fell to the ground, and a crack appeared on the ground beneath his feet. He blocked it. Everyone exclaimed, but King Qiyu's heart was filled with shock. Although he blocked it, he could no longer feel his wings. The other party's attack was really too powerful, far exceeding his expectations. Damn it! He roared, wanting to resist. However, Lin Xian's third punch came. Under the punch, the Celestial Emperor's cauldron disappeared, and endless light turned into fire dragons. Thousands of them, densely packed, intertwined in the sky, forming the 10,000 dragons diagram. When the 10,000 dragons diagram appeared, the immemorial creatures almost knelt on the ground. I don't believe it! It's fake! Die for me! King Qi roared. He also waved his fist, and a huge flame shadow soared into the sky, wanting to tear everything apart. In the sky, the 10,000 dragons diagram also fell crazily. Another earth-shattering collision. King Qi grunted and took 5 steps back. The blood in his body was boiling, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. It was completely suppressed by him. What? King Qi was forced to retreat. Everyone exclaimed. The immemorial creatures could not believe it. King Chi roared. Kid, I want you dead! He could not bear it. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. 3 moves have passed, and you've been forced to retreat 5 steps. You've lost this battle. He stood with his hands behind his back, and he had no intention of attacking. However, the aura on his body became even colder. Nonsense! How could I lose? King Chi roared. The immemorial creatures of the Chi Yu clan also snorted. What? You want to slap yourself in the face? Lin Xian sneered. When he said that, everyone shook their heads. Lin Xian said it in front of everyone? If King Chi Yu did not admit it now, it would be humiliating. The other immemorial creatures would probably look down on the Chi Yu clan. King Chi Yu naturally thought of this, and his face was terrifyingly gloomy. To be honest, he had been too careless. Previously, he had been full of confidence in himself, thinking that it was impossible for him to be forced back. Even if he defended passively, there wouldn't be any problems. How could he have imagined that his opponent would actually transform into an extreme weapon and launch an attack? He was forced to retreat. Although he wasn't injured, and although he was powerful, he couldn't make a move right now. This kind of feeling was really too sullen. Looking up to the sky, King Redwing roared. Endless flames surged from his body, turning into a divine bird that covered the sky. His cold eyes swept across the area. Good, very good. No one has ever been able to make me suffer. You are the first. I will remember you. Just you wait. The next time I see you, I will kill you with my own hands. Let's go. After saying that, he flapped his wings and flew forward with the archaic life form of the Redwing clan. The other archaic creatures also felt their scalps go numb. The other party was too strong, so strong that they were terrified. They didn't dare to provoke him. Therefore, the 10,000 ancient races quickly followed behind. The human cultivators were also shocked. Lin Xian landed and led the people of the Immortal Palace, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu forward. How could this kid be so powerful? The previous saint of the Purple Dawn's sacred land was terrified. His entire body was drenched in sweat. He was scared out of his wits. Just now, he was so scared that he almost peed his pants. The other party was too strong. He was so strong that it made him terrified. In front of him, Lin Xian and the others strode forward. However, when they reached the depths of the hall, they found that the 3 archaic theocrats had already disappeared. It seemed that the other party had left very quickly. Damn it, the Fire Qilin Cave knew more information. If we followed him, it might have been easier. But now we have lost them. Now we have to figure everything out by ourselves. The Crimson Dragon frowned. Lin Xian also looked around. Indeed, the Fire Qilin Cave knew more information, but even without the other party, it wasn't impossible for them to slowly figure it out. It just so happened that they could thoroughly understand the heavenly flame formation. This should be the end of the hall. They should be able to leave after pushing open this door. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the red door in front of him. His eyes flickered. The surrounding archaic creatures and human cultivators also walked up. When they saw the red door, their eyelids twitched wildly. Previously, the Iksha race's prodigy wanted to force his way through the red door. In the end, he was inexplicably killed by a wisp of flame. That scene was still fresh in their minds. Seeing a similar red door, they didn't dare to move at all. There shouldn't be any danger. Otherwise, they wouldn't have left the nest of 10,000 dragons. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. He took the lead and walked out. The 9-yang divine body bloomed with light as he pressed his palm on the red door. Immediately, a terrifying flame appeared on the red door and enveloped him. It really appeared! The surrounding people exclaimed. Lin Xian was also shocked, but in the next moment, he roared and resisted. He blocked it. When everyone saw this scene, they screamed again. That's right, Lin Xian blocked the terrifying flames on the red door. However, his situation wasn't good. He was completely surrounded by these flames, and it seemed that he would be burned to ashes at any moment. Temple Master! Peacock and the others exclaimed. Lin Xian's big brother. Murong Qingqing and the others were also worried. The archaic creatures sneered. This kid really didn't know what was good for him. He actually dared to touch this red door casually. Even if he was burned to death, it wouldn't be an injustice. Hee, if he dies, we can snatch the great dragon sword soul. These people had a good idea. Lin Xian shouted coldly. Strange flames? Just what I want. He needed that sort of flame to temper his 9 sons' divine flames to begin with. Thus, with a loud laugh, he began to completely unleash his cultivation technique. Soon, the red flames were refined, absorbed, and gradually disappeared. Seeing this scene, the archaic creatures frowned. No way, this kid can actually resist it? How strange. So what? I'll secretly attack him. A cold voice sounded. Then, everyone felt their vision blur as if something had passed by. However, they couldn't detect it at all. Whoosh! The void behind Lin Xian split open and a thin black sword pierced towards his head. This moment appeared very suddenly and no one noticed it. When they saw it, it was too late to exclaim. Hee, go to hell. A black shadow appeared. It was a woman with a hazy figure. The black sword in her hand stabbed down mercilessly, and was about to pierce Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't dodge. Instead, he slammed his palm towards the red door in front of him. With a bang, endless red flames rushed out from the door and spread in all directions, enveloping the surroundings. Not good. Run! Seeing this scene, those people frantically retreated. The archaic creatures and human warriors also roared. They raised their domains to resist. Chapter 29:29. The red flames were too terrifying. They couldn't resist it at all. You're courting death. In the air, the woman wrapped in flames also screamed. She didn't expect the other party to do this. It caught her off guard. The red flames pounced on the black slender sword, causing it to turn into a pool of black liquid and fall into the air. The woman also screamed. One of her arms melted, causing her to retreat in fear. However, Lin Xian wouldn't allow her to retreat. He swept his leg out like a coiling dragon, coiling around her body. The woman in the black mist and Lin Xian were both enveloped by the red flames that filled the sky. Ah! 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 Miserable screams rang out, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. The primordial creatures were also terrified. This time, the red flames were twice as large as before. I'm afraid both of them are done for. As expected, the woman didn't last long before she stopped breathing. She must be a prodigy of the ghost race. What a pity. That's right. No one would have thought that Lin Xian would want to perish together with them. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. However, they were still a little excited. If they could burn Lin Xian to death, so what if 1 or 2 primordial prodigies died? Humph! Die together? You really think highly of yourself. Amidst the flames that filled the sky, a cold voice rang out. Everyone's scalps went numb. Damn it, that kid isn't dead yet. How is that possible? His physique shouldn't be so strong, right? Could it be that he broke through again? Lin Xian's body bloomed with the light of the 9 suns. The 9 suns' divine fire turned into vortexes, and crazily absorbed the power of the red flames to temper his body. Every time he absorbed, a sharp light would appear on his body. However, after it healed, the 9 suns' divine body became even more terrifying. Soon, all the flames were completely absorbed by Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there like a flaming god of war, and his presence was like a thunderbolt. This scene made everyone tremble. At the same time, their hearts burned with passion. The red flames had a strange energy. If Lin Xian could cultivate his physique, why couldn't they? Immediately, a few people stepped forward. Among them were a few ancient race prodigies. Leaf Dao Denier, the crown prince of the Grand Xia, and the others all stepped forward. 1. They bombarded the red door, attracting flames to temper their bodies. Others tried as well, but the 2 geniuses from the 5 Elements Palace were instantly burned, and their souls escaped. On the other side, the 3 ancient race beings were also screaming miserably. 2 of them were completely reduced to ashes, and even their souls did not escape. This scene was frightening. If one was not a top-notch genius, no one would dare to use such a flame to temper themselves. 1. With a wave of his hand, Lin Xian took out the 9-layered pagoda and quickly absorbed the scarlet flames. This 9-floored pagoda was a half-step sacred artifact, and he had obtained it from the war race. At this moment, it was the best time to use it to collect the flames. After absorbing the endless flames, Lin Xian put away the pagoda and said, "Brother Yi, let's hurry up and leave. Otherwise, the good stuff would be taken away by those people." Indeed, the 3 ancient royal race prodigies had left, and so had the other ancient royal race prodigies. Yan Nantian, the number 1 genius of the war race, and the others had all left. Therefore, they had to leave as soon as possible. Leaf Dao Denier, the crown prince, and the others nodded. Leaf Dao Denier took out a bronze cauldron and collected the flames. The others did the same. They could collect some of the flames on the way or cultivate in the future. Only half-step sacred artifacts could receive the flames, because other than that, there was nothing else that could withstand the might of the flames. Next, Lin Xian, Leaf Dao Denier, and the others worked together to open the red door. Among them, Lin Xian's 9 yang divine fire bloomed. Leaf Dao Denier's body was overflowing with golden blood. One of them had the 9 yang divine body, while the other had the saint body. It could be said that they were 2 extremely powerful constitutions. The 2 of them were like gods of war. With a roar, they pushed the red door with all their might. In addition to the 2 of them, the Alkid sage was surrounded by fiend gods. He was abnormally terrifying, and he also punched out. Wuchen was like an ancient Buddha, his body dancing with Buddhist light. In addition, the Daoyi sage, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, Wuhua, Gu Santong, and the other top geniuses all made their moves. The 10,000 ancient races were not idle either. They also made their moves. The 1,000 ghost race, blood moon race, stone race, and the other primordial royal races geniuses were all outstanding, and their auras were terrifying. The many geniuses worked together, and finally, the red door slowly opened. Boom! 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 It finally opened. Everyone was incomparably excited. Lin Xian also looked forward. There was a very dark passage ahead, and the surrounding light could not shine in at all. However, they could not care less. Let's go. Lin Xian, Leaf Dao Denier, and the others took the lead. After they entered, they were like the sun in the darkness, shining in all directions. But soon, the light on their bodies dimmed. It could be said that they were suppressed. The people who came in later also exclaimed in surprise. They also encountered the same situation. In here, they could only illuminate a few meters around them. Any further, and they could not see anything at all. Humph! As more and more people entered, the primordial geniuses looked at Lin Xian and the others and sneered. Their eyes flashed with cold killing intent. In particular, the royal race from the Redwing race looked at Lin Xian with unfriendly expressions. It seemed that they would not give up if they had the chance. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. His eyes were like rainbows as he looked around. The 10,000 ancient races were shocked. Many of them retracted their gazes, because they felt a biting cold killing intent explode from Lin Xian's eyes. Qingcheng, Qiu'er, come over. Lin Xian called Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu over. At the same time, the Crimson Dragon also rushed over. They gathered together. On the other side, Yu Wudao and Wuchen also called the geniuses of their sacred ground families to prepare to leave together. Hey kid, look at the wall. The Crimson Dragon looked around and suddenly pointed at the walls on both sides of the passage. Lin Xian also turned to look. Buzz! His pupils constricted. These runes! Are they runes? Or Dao runes? He did not know. The walls were covered with dense runes. They were very mysterious and made one dizzy at a glance. Lin Xian felt a mysterious energy coming from these runes. What a mysterious rune! The Crimson Dragon was also amazed. As he spoke, he waved his dragon claw and pressed it against the wall. Buzz! His dragon blood surged, and red light flowed quickly along the runes. One rune after another flickered. A terrifying energy slowly spread out. The entire space seemed to solidify, as if it was going to crush everyone. Damn, what the hell? The Crimson Dragon was shocked. He quickly released his dragon claw, and the terrifying energy instantly disappeared. This made him feel a lingering fear. The others were also shocked. They looked at Lin Xian. They were looking at the wall. There was something on the wall. Chapter 29:30. The primordial beasts and human sky prides all looked at the wall. The passage was very long, so they could see the wall without fighting for it. There were runes on the wall. Heavens, were these Tao runes? What profound runes! They all tried. When they channeled their energy into the runes, a terrifying aura spread out, as if some peerless beast was about to awaken. They quickly took action. However, some didn't believe it. One of the top sky prides from the unfettered sect continued to channel his energy. In the end, his body exploded into a bloody mist. He was killed by the runes on the wall. On the other side, a powerhouse from the Stone tribe was the same. The Stone clan was a king clan, possessing boundless strength and powerful bodies. It was terrifying and heaven-defying. However, one of their sky prides was killed in an instant. This scene made the primordial beasts tremble. They knew that the runes on the wall were too terrifying and couldn't be touched easily. Otherwise, they would end up in a miserable state. The Crimson Dragon shrunk its neck. It was too dangerous. Fortunately, Ben Wang was quick-witted. Indeed, if he hadn't released his dragon claw, he would have ended up in a miserable state. On the side, Lin Xian sucked in a deep breath, his expression grave. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were also astonished. Yu Wudao, Wu Chen, and the others were even more so. They stared at the runes in front of them, wanting to see the secret behind them. Heaven Fire City was really strange. Just a single passage contained such a terrifying killing intent. Once the runes were activated, none of us would be able to resist it. A sky pride from the Blood Moon tribe frowned. The other sky prides nodded. That was indeed the case. Although they were arrogant and didn't put anything in their eyes, they still felt a trace of fear in front of this mysterious passage. Needless to say, the sky prides of the human race were even more terrified. This time, not only were the current generation saints here, but even the previous generation saints were here. They were all under 500 years old, but their strength was comparable to the current generation saints. There were too many of them. Some of them weren't inferior to the primordial sky prides. At this moment, they quickly took 2 steps back to distance themselves from the runes. Let's hurry up and leave. This place is too strange. Let's leave the passage and see what's ahead. When these words were spoken, many people cried out in alarm, wanting to leave as soon as possible. However, Lin Xian, Leaf Dao Denier, and the others didn't leave. Lin Xian looked at the mysterious runes on the wall, his eyes flickering. The Crimson Dragon at the side also said, "If we can use these runes, who will be our opponent?" It turned out that Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were after the mysterious runes. Indeed, if they could release such a terrifying rune attack with just a wave of their hands, there probably wouldn't be many people in Sky Fire City who could be their match. That's easy. Although the runes are complicated, it's not difficult for us to figure them out with our strength. Murong Qingqing said from the side. Xinjingqiu, let me try. A purple glow appeared in her eyes as she stared at the wall in front of her. She wanted to comprehend the runes. But soon, she puffed up her cheeks. No, she couldn't remember it or comprehend it. What the hell is this? Xinjingqiu was very dissatisfied. Her talent was extremely high. She could learn all the martial arts in the sacred ground in one go. But now, she couldn't comprehend or use these runes. Not only her, but the top geniuses around her also began to try. Even some of the Archean geniuses had the idea of using the runes. But soon, Cries of surprise sounded in the passage. Damn it, I can't comprehend it either. Not only can I comprehend it, I can't even remember it. Damn it, there's something wrong with these runes. They were very familiar when I looked at them, but when I looked away, my mind went blank. It seems like they can cut off the connection between us. Lin Xian also frowned. He tried, and found that the runes were deeply imprinted in his mind. But when he turned around and tried to use his spiritual power to create the runes, he found that his mind was blank. The Crimson Dragon tried a few times, but failed. He was so anxious that he stomped his feet. Damn it, this can't be a Dao rune, right? If it was Daowen, then it was understandable. With their current strength and vision, they couldn't understand it. Because it was the means of a sage. It wasn't a Dao rune. However, even if they didn't know the runes, they weren't far from it. It seemed that they couldn't use these mysterious runes. Yu Wudao sighed, his eyes full of disappointment. On the other side, Wu Chen also shook his head and sighed. The Alcade sage's expression was solemn. He was silent, and the light on his body became even brighter. On the other side, the Blood Moon race, Blue Ghoul race, and Yiksha race's geniuses were the same. They said in a deep voice that they would try one last time. If it didn't work, they would give up immediately. There were many treasures in Sky Flame City. There was no need for them to waste too much time here for a passage. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Golden light bloomed in his eyes as he activated the Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes. In addition to the 9 Yang Divine Body and Dragon Sword Soul, he had an even more terrifying eye technique. Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes. So at this moment, Lin Xian used the Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes to forcibly memorize these mysterious runes. Buzz! Buzz! In his eyes, the golden runes kept spinning, forming strange patterns. Fortunately, the surrounding geniuses were trying their best to memorize the runes on the wall. Otherwise, they would have screamed when they saw Lin Xian's eyes. The reason for that was because Lin Xian's eyes were simply too mysterious. They were like gods. Xin Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing were also shocked. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. He hurriedly set up a formation to cover this strange scene. Gradually, the golden light in Lin Xian's eyes disappeared. He frowned, took out a few soul recovery pills from the black earth, and quickly swallowed them. Kid, how are you? The Crimson Dragon asked. Beside him, Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu were also concerned. Lin Xian shook his head. I'm fine. I just used some soul energy. Did you memorize it? I memorized 3. These runes are too strange and mysterious. I can only memorize 3 with the Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes. I'm very suspicious. Who carved these runes? They're probably not weaker than a sage. Indeed, 3 was his limit now. This was also because he had the Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes. He probably couldn't memorize any of the others. If he wanted to forcibly memorize them, he would probably use up too much of his soul energy. In such a place, it was very dangerous to have a weak soul. So Lin Xian decisively gave up. Memorizing 3 runes was already an unexpected surprise for him. Big brother Lin Xian is so powerful. I can't remember any of them. Xin Jingqiu pouted her lips and said. Lin Xian smiled and rubbed her head. Let's go. Chapter 2931. Since Lin Xian was the only one who could remember the runes, there was no need for them to stay here any longer. Therefore, everyone walked forward. As expected, other than Lin Xian, even people as strong as Yu Wudao and the Alcade Sage had given up. On the other side, the primordial creatures were also roaring. Damn it! One of the Yiksha prodigies was so angry that he attacked the passageway like a madman. He wanted to destroy the entire passageway. An earth-shattering force surged toward him. It was as if the punch could destroy the world. Boom! The punch landed on the wall, and the runes on it began to dance. The Yiksha prodigy was instantly killed. This scene caused everyone to be alarmed. The Crimson Dragon sneered. No, you're courting death. What did you say? The sky prides of the Yiksha tribe turned their heads and glared at him. They had just lost another prodigy, and their hearts were bleeding. Now someone dared to mock them? Did he want to die? What did I say? I said that you're idiots. The Crimson Dragon said disdainfully. These runes contain unfathomable power. Do you think you can destroy them? If you want to die, you can. But what if you activate all the runes in the passageway? Who would be able to resist then? Are you trying to drag everyone down with you? The dark red divine dragon roared at the end of its sentence. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. That's right. They looked at the Ikshas with unfriendly expressions. These Ikshas are arrogant and crazy. What if they really attack the passageway? If they activate all the runes in the passageway, no one will be able to resist them. Damn it, they're a bunch of lunatics. The human prodigies muttered softly. The primordial creatures also tried to dissuade them. They did not want to die here for no reason. The Ikshas were so angry that they trembled. However, they were the center of attention now, so they could not attack. They were arrogant, but they were not fools. Fighting against all the geniuses by themselves? They would never do such a thing. So, they snorted coldly? Fine, kid. I'll remember you. You still want to use a dragon like you? Just you wait. One day, I'll tear you apart with my own hands. I'll have a taste of dragon meat. The Yiksha prodigies stared at Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon ferociously. Why wait? There's a chance now. The Red-Winged prodigies also sneered. Everyone's hearts pounded wildly. Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon was angry. What? You want to fight? Your King Qiyu is not here. Be careful, or he will kill you all. That was indeed the case. In order to chase after the Fire Dragon King, the seventh generation master, and the others, the Red Feather King had left in advance. Although the Red-Wing clan had their own prodigies, without the Red-Wing King, the dark red godly dragon would not be afraid of them. Arrogant. Crimson's Crimson Dragon too. That's right. Don't think that you can show off just because you forced Crimson Dragon to retreat. Crimson Dragon was defending passively. Moreover, if Crimson Dragon attacked with his full strength, do you think you can defeat him? The prodigies from the Red-Winged tribe sneered. Even if our king isn't here, we can still kill you. Kid, it's time for you to die. One of the prodigies from the Red-Winged tribe sneered. He waved his arm, and a fiery red light surged into the runes on the wall. Boom! The runes flew forward and enveloped Lin Xian. Damn it, he's using someone else to do his dirty work. That works too. Many people exclaimed and retreated. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Qing Cheng Chiao retreat. His body shone brightly, forming a fire qilin that charged forward. He did not expect his opponent to use such a method to communicate with the runes on the wall. At the same time, Lin Xian used the yin-yang steps. His speed was extremely fast, and he turned into an afterimage on the spot. A strand of runes floated in the sky, piercing through the fire qilin and shattering Lin Xian's afterimage. How terrifying! Even Lin Xian's attack could be easily shattered. How terrifying were the runes on the wall! The prodigies were terrified. At the same time, they were surprised. They did not expect the prodigies from the Red-Winged tribe to be so powerful. They could even think of using someone else to kill. Doesn't that mean we can use it too? Some of the prodigies from the human race were overjoyed. They were prepared to use the same move. Perhaps they could kill a few prodigies from the Archean era. However, after trying for a while, their faces darkened because they realized that it was not easy to get someone else to do the dirty work for them. It seemed that the prodigies from the Red-Winged tribe were stronger than they had imagined. They were definitely a terrifying tribe. Kid, how dare you provoke the Red-Winged tribe? Today is the day you die. One of the prodigies laughed maniacally. Lin Xian's face was also gloomy. How dare they try to kill me? It seems that the lesson I taught them was not enough. How dare you provoke me? Do you think I'll let you go? He replied coldly. Good kid, you're really arrogant. However, don't even think about using the runes on the wall to fight me. I don't think you can do it. The prodigy from the Red-Winged tribe sneered. Shameless. What's the point of using the runes on the wall? If you're so capable, fight Big Brother Lin Xian fairly. Xin Jingqiu snorted coldly from behind. What do you know, little human girl? The winner is the king. As long as I kill him, I can use whatever I want. The prodigy from the Red Wing tribe was not ashamed at all. Instead, he was proud of it. Looks like you really want to die. Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian's body was also surging with killing intent. His patience had reached its limit. As soon as he said that, the surrounding people were shocked. What? Does Lin Xian want to fight? Can he really fight against the runes on the wall? What a joke! None of the people there had the confidence to fight against him. Even Yi Wudao furrowed his brows. It's not wise to fight him now. The faces of the people from the Red Wing tribe darkened. Their bodies trembled. The other party is too arrogant. We already know how to kill with a borrowed knife, yet he still dares to show off in front of us? Does he really think we don't dare to kill him? So what if he's the master of the Immortal Hall? We'll kill him without hesitation. Go to hell, kid! The prodigy from the Red Wing tribe roared crazily. He couldn't stand Lin Xian's arrogance. Therefore, he activated the runes on the wall again, wanting to kill with a borrowed knife. Buzz! The runes on the wall lit up and flew toward Lin Xian. The void shattered, and the terrifying energy caused the entire passage to shake. The surrounding prodigies of the human and Archean races trembled and retreated frantically. They were afraid of being affected. Many people were so shocked that they knelt down on the ground, trembling. Be careful, Big Brother Xian. Murong Qingqing and the others also cried out in alarm. They were extremely nervous. There was nothing they could do. The runes were too terrifying, and the energy they contained was unfathomable. Now that the Red Wing tribe was using a borrowed knife to kill, its power was incomparably terrifying. Even the young Archean kings couldn't block it. Chapter 2932. Hee hee, that kid is dead meat. Many primordial paragons sneered. That's right, he definitely won't be able to stop them. There was no doubt about it. Those people revealed sinister smiles because they had wanted to kill Lin Xian for a long time, but many of them did not have the strength to do so. Now, it was worth celebrating that they could use the mysterious rune to kill him. Lin Xian's expression was cold. To be honest, he did not expect the Red Wing race's prodigy to be able to borrow the power of the rune. It was really surprising. At the same time, he made up his mind to kill him. The Red Wing race controlled the power of fire and had a mysterious bloodline. Their potential was terrifying. Now that they were his enemies, he naturally would not give them any more chances. With a sway of his body, Lin Xian used the yin-yang steps and rushed forward. In an instant, he created countless doppelgangers in the passage. What? He's rushing over? Many people exclaimed, and the Archean creatures felt their scalps go numb. Impossible! How dare he rush over? Does he have a death wish? They could not believe that Lin Xian should be trembling and running away in the face of such a terrifying rune. However, Lin Xian did the opposite and directly rushed toward the mysterious rune. Does that kid think he can fight against the mysterious rune? What a joke. Hee hee, you overestimate yourself. It's a miracle that you're still alive. But now you can die. The Red Wing race's prodigy laughed sinisterly. He did not think that Lin Xian could fight against the mysterious rune. He speculated that even the young invincible realm cultivator would not be able to fight against it. Moreover, even if that kid had a half-step sage artifact, he would not be able to fight against it. That was because the power of the rune was too terrifying. He had tried before, but half-step sage artifacts did not work. Therefore, in his opinion, Lin Xian was definitely going to die. Lin Xian rose into the air. Light bloomed from his body, making him look like a god of death. He waved his hand, and a white hand bone flew out of the black earth to meet the attack. The hand bone was infused with power, and it immediately erupted with a terrifying aura. Boom! Many people were pressed to the ground, their bodies trembling. Damn it! The aura of a sage! Heavens, what did I do? Could it be that he has a sage artifact? These people are crazy. Half-step sage tools couldn't block the dreadful runes. However, sage tools could certainly block them. No, with his strength, there was no way he could activate a sacred artifact. The ancient lifeform screamed as well. That was indeed the case. Normally, only people at the sect master level could activate a sacred tool. Even though they were peerless geniuses right now, it was still a little difficult for them to wield sage weapons. He reckoned that his energy would be depleted in just a few moves. At that time, he would be at the mercy of others. Therefore, even if he had a sacred artifact, it would not be of much use. But if it wasn't a saint artifact, then what was it? That power was too terrifying. It made people tremble. It was not the slightest bit inferior to the aura emitted by the mysterious runes. Bone, it was a section of bone. Could it be the bones of a saint? One of the stone tribe's geniuses exclaimed. What? The bones of a saint. This kid actually had such a thing in his hands. They were surprised. They didn't expect Lin Xian to have such a trump card. No wonder he was fearless in the face of the mysterious rune. Boom! In the void, the sound of an intense collision rang out as the space shattered. However, the saint's hand bone managed to block the attack of the mysterious runes. Humph! Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. On the other side, the Red-Winged tribe's genius trembled and his expression became extremely ugly. Damn it, he blocked it. His opponent actually had a way to block the attack of the runes. His heart gradually sank. He had miscalculated. The biggest reason he dared to fight Lin Xian was because of the talisman characters on the stone wall. In his opinion, he could easily kill Lin Xian as long as he borrowed someone else's knife. He didn't expect Lin Xian to have the bones of a saint to block the mysterious runes. If he were to face Lin Xian directly, the consequences would be unimaginable. Whoosh! In an instant, Lin Xian appeared in front of the Red-Winged tribe's genius and grabbed his head with a large golden hand. Get lost! The Red-Winged tribe's genius roared and threw out a terrifying fiery fist. Light flickered and shot up into the sky. However, it was mercilessly extinguished by the large golden hand. In just one move, the Red-Winged tribe's genius's arm exploded. Blood gushed out, and he screamed in agony. The Red-Winged tribe's genius screamed crazily. No, you can't kill me. I can't kill you? Give me a reason. Lin Xian sneered. The young king of the Red-Winged tribe is right here. If you kill me, our King Redwing will not let you off. King Redwing? Is that what you're relying on? To tell you the truth, I'm not afraid of him. If he dares to cause trouble, I'll definitely kill him. Lin Xian's voice was cold. At the same time, the large golden hand fell and smashed the Red-Winged tribe's genius into pieces. Buzz! At the same time, a dragon-shaped sword she rushed out of his body and turned into a giant dragon. It carried an astonishing power and destroyed the Red-Winged tribe's genius's soul. No! The other Archean creatures of the Red-Winged tribe screamed crazily, but they couldn't stop it. They could only watch as the genius of their tribe fell. Damn it, you killed our genius! You're dead meat. Our King Redwing will never let you off. We'll tear you into pieces! They screamed crazily. Noisy! Lin Xian snorted and waved his hand, slapping many of the Red-Winged tribe's creatures away. More than half of their bones were broken, and they screamed on the ground. If you dare to make another sound, I'll kill you all! Lin Xian stared at the primordial life forms of the Redwing race. Those primordial life forms trembled, and their faces were filled with fear. Although it was painful, no one dared to do it again. Lin Xian looked at them with disdain and ignored them. The surrounding people were terrified. Lin Xian was too strong. King Redwing was in Skyfire City, and he dared to attack the Red-Winged tribe's people. Could it be that he could really fight against King Redwing? Impossible. Although he had forced King Redwing back, King Redwing was only defending. If he really fought with all his strength, he definitely wouldn't be King Redwing's opponent. King Redwing was a genius who could compete with the three immemorial theocrats. How could this human be able to stop him? The crowd discussed. They felt that Lin Xian was too arrogant. Lin Xian was still fearless. He didn't want to attack these people in the first place. However, these Red-Winged Tribe's creatures were too arrogant. They wanted to kill him several times. Did they think he was easy to bully? They wanted to attack him? They had to pay the price. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and led the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and the Immortal Palace's warriors forward. No one dared to stop them. The others also left. After all, they couldn't remember these mysterious runes. It was useless to stay here any longer. They might as well go deeper. After walking for about 2 hours, they finally reached the end of the passage. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. The passage was too oppressive. If they were careless, they would be killed by the mysterious runes. Chapter 29:33. But fortunately, they had left. At the end of the passage was another hall. It was much smaller than the first one, and there were no corpses or broken weapons inside. It was very clean, and there was only something that looked like an array platform there. Is it an array formation? Everyone was shocked, and many of them looked forward with flickering eyes. Why does it look like a teleportation array? Is it? I think so too. Where are we teleporting to? Could it be the next area? These people discussed animatedly. They didn't know where the teleportation array would teleport them to. Would they be teleported to the 3rd Street, or directly out of Sky Flame City? Therefore, for a moment, everyone just watched and didn't act rashly. Moreover, they still had a doubt in their hearts. Is this really a teleportation array? This place was incomparably strange, and they didn't dare to be 100% sure. Look, why are the runes on this array formation so similar to the ones in the passage? An archaic sky pride pointed at the array formation in front of them and screamed in horror. The others looked carefully and sucked in a breath of cold air. Indeed. Fortunately, they didn't act rashly. Otherwise, they might have been killed mercilessly. It's definitely a terrifying trap. Lin Xian also frowned. His eyes flickered as he asked, Rosalong, is it dangerous? The Crimson Dragon swam around the array formation quickly. The runes on it were similar to the ones in the passage, but their functions should be different. It seemed that this was really a teleportation array. Moreover, the teleportation distance wasn't too far. They probably weren't teleporting out of Sky Flame City, but to the next area. After all, the Crimson Dragon was an expert in array formations, so it came to this conclusion after studying it for a while. After hearing this, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that those people should have left through this array formation. Although that was what he thought, the others didn't leave that way. After all, they didn't see it with their own eyes. Who knew how those people left before? Since that's the case, let's use the teleportation array, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. It seemed that this was the only way now. Everyone else remained silent. Even the sky prides of the human race were frowning. This was because they didn't really believe Lin Xian's words, let alone the ancient creatures. Who knew if this was a trap set up by the other party to kill them? Lin Xian sneered when he saw the suspicious looks on their faces. Let's go up the arena. He called out to Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and Immortal Palace's people, preparing to ascend the arena. Seeing the actions of Lin Xian and the others, the human martial artists were shocked. As for the ancient life forms, their complexions changed. They quickly discussed, and the geniuses of the Yiksha race walked up. Wait. Why? Do you have something to say? Lin Xian asked with a frown. The genius from the Yiksha race snorted coldly. Of course there was something. Why should they leave first? Right, there are so many king clans here, so it shouldn't be your Immortal Palace's turn. As soon as he said this, Lin Xian's expression darkened, and the Crimson Dragon spat out its saliva. F***ck, you guys are shameless. Previously, all of you were afraid of death and didn't dare to step forward. Now you want to be the first to leave? Are you dogs? You're courting death. The geniuses of the Yiksha race roared angrily, but no matter what, they would not allow the other party to leave first. Firstly, it seemed that this was really a teleportation array. What if Lin Xian and the others went to the other side first and destroyed the other teleportation array? They would never be able to cross over. Was the teleportation array that easy to destroy? Lin Xian transmitted his voice. The Crimson Dragon said. It was fine. They wouldn't be able to destroy it even if they attacked it for a year. The mysterious runes were used to protect the array. All right, Lin Xian was relieved. Since you want to leave, you can be the first to leave. As he said that, he stood to the side and sneered at the other party. A bad premonition arose in their hearts. Damn it, could it really be a trap? But this kid's acting was too realistic. Was he trying to bait them? For a moment, the geniuses of the Yiksha race were in a dilemma. They were stunned. The disdain in Lin Xian's eyes grew stronger. These primordial geniuses were really afraid of death. If they didn't even dare to take this little risk, how could they compete for the throne? No need. Let them go first. Yes, let this kid scout the way first. A few voices sounded from the crowd. One of them was a genius from the stone race. He was tall and his body was also covered in runes. His powerful aura caused the space to tremble. The stone race was one of the top royal races in the far ancient era, so their words carried a lot of weight. The other person who spoke was pitch black with white runes flickering on his body. He was from the Black Tiger race, which was also one of the terrifying royal races. Lin Xian glanced at the two of them and realized that their auras were very powerful. They should be top geniuses. In the next moment, he retracted his gaze and said, In that case, I won't stand on ceremony. Brother Yi, Brother Gu, I'll be leaving first. Lin Xian cupped his fists at Yi Wudao and the others. Then, he led the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and the cultivators of the Immortal Palace onto the teleportation platform. After dropping a few divine crystals, the teleportation array was activated. Terrifying runes spun and wrapped around them. Did Xuan Song leave? Everyone watched nervously. They wanted to see if Lin Xian was in danger. However, in the next moment, they screamed. Because they realized that the runes on the platform were quickly floating and spreading. The entire hall was completely enveloped. Not good. What's going on? They looked at the mysterious runes flickering under their feet and the terrifying spatial power they emitted. They were extremely shocked. Damn it, why are we being teleported too? The primordial geniuses were stunned. Yi Wudao, the Alcade Sage, and the others' pupils shrank. Not good, it's really a trap. Immortal King descends to the 9 heavens. Yi Wudao roared angrily. A golden Immortal King rushed out of his body, holding a bronze cauldron. It instantly covered him and the cultivators of the Yi family. On the other side, Dustless shot out a Buddha phantom. Buddhist runes filled the sky and enveloped the people of the Buddhist sect. The Alcade Sage also shot out a dragon-patterned cauldron replica. 2 black dragons circled around him and the cultivators of the Alcade sacred land. In an instant, everyone took out their trump cards. The 10,000 ancient races also activated their bloodline power and took out terrifying treasures to cover their bodies. In the next moment, the surrounding space shattered, and countless black holes appeared, swallowing these people. Damn it, what's going on? In the arena, Lin Xian and the others were also stunned. Will they be fine? Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu's faces were pale, while the Crimson Dragon's mouth twitched. Damn it, there's actually a hidden mystery in this array. This platform should only be the key part in the center. In fact, the entire hall was a teleportation array. Only then did the Crimson Dragon realize. The person who set up the array is too exquisite. I can't see through it for a while. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. Would they be teleported together with these people? Chapter 2934. No one knew. In the next moment, they felt a surge of spatial energy wrap around them. Then, they disappeared as well. Whoosh! The world spun, and Lin Xian and the others appeared on the street. The fiery red street was burning with raging flames, and the surrounding tall buildings were all wrapped in flames. The fire aura here was stronger than before. However, the style was still the same. It seemed that they had been teleported to the next area. After Lin Xian and the others came out, they quickly recovered and looked around. Murong Qingqing also said that it must have been those runes that protected us. But I wonder if those people are okay or not? Hee, it would be best if we could kill those 10,000 ancient races and teach them a lesson. The Crimson Dragon sneered. At the same time, figures appeared in other areas of the fiery area. Roar! The Golden Immortal King roared, and the bronze cauldron suppressed the surroundings, but it had dimmed a lot. Fortunately, no one was injured. Yu Wudao heaved a sigh of relief. On the other side, Dustless and the Alcade Sage also came out. They had also been affected, but their losses were minimal. However, the other sacred grounds and sects had suffered some injuries. Some were even seriously injured. It was the same for the 10,000 ancient races. Many primordial beings were injured. They were so angry that they vomited blood. Ah! Damn brat, I won't let you off. Lin Xian, I'll tear you to pieces. It's a trap. I told you it was a trap. The Yiksha race and the Blood Moon race roared crazily. At this moment, their killing intent was overflowing. They couldn't wait to find Lin Xian and kill him immediately. Brat, where are we going? The Crimson Dragon asked. Lin Xian looked around and saw a fiery tower in the distance. It was very eye-catching. Let's go to that building. In the second area, they had gone to a fiery palace, and now there was a fiery tower. Perhaps it was a place similar to the fire shrine. All right, let's go from there. The group walked in that direction. Yu Wudao and the other geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races also headed for the fiery tower. The flaming tower had a total of 19 floors. It was extraordinarily mighty and shot straight into the clouds. It was like a gigantic flaming mountain, with flames surging up to the heavens. At this moment, there were already several figures standing below the flaming tower. Some of these figures belonged to the human race, while others belonged to the 10,000 ancient races. But without exception, the information on them was abnormally powerful. One of them was covered in fiery red feathers that tore through the void. It was King Redfeather of the Crimson Moon clan. At this moment, King Redfeather's face didn't look good. Damn it, he was still shaken off by those guys. The person next to him was as black as ink. He had 2 demon horns on his head, and a black ghost sword on his back. His aura was ice-cold, as if he was a demon from hell. His gaze was deep, as if he could see through everything. There's nothing we can do about it. That damned Fire Qilin cave knows a lot. The 3 great imperial clans are working together to shake us off and leave us behind. However, they shouldn't be too fast. They should only be 1 region ahead of us. I think they should know where the heavenly flame is. A beautiful woman said in a delicate voice. She was very beautiful, and her figure was even more graceful. One could say that she had the body of a devil and the face of an angel. However, there was a silver tail on her back. That tail seemed to be made of steel and had a cold metallic luster. She was a sky pride of the Scorpio race. The few top prodigies frowned because they felt that the longer they delayed, the further they would be from the top prodigies of the ancient imperial clans. If the other party obtained the heavenly flame, they would have to return empty-handed. Yes, someone is coming! The sky pride of the Scorpio race turned his head to look. The other prodigies also turned their heads. Indeed, someone had appeared. Countless streaks of light tore through the void and rushed over. These people were very fast. In the blink of an eye, they were nearby. These people aren't slow. The few prodigies snorted. The people who rushed over were none other than Lin Xian and the others. There were humans and ancient beasts. When they arrived at the flaming tower, they were also stunned. There were people. They didn't expect that there would be people below the flaming tower. It seemed that they had arrived earlier than them. The Archean prodigies, as well as the human warriors, narrowed their eyes. He naturally saw those people. At the same time, he also saw the tall Scarlet Feather King surrounded by flames. Swoosh! Swoosh! These people landed on the surrounding streets and looked ahead cautiously. The few top prodigies looked at these people and frowned. A bunch of ants. I say, why don't we join forces to clear the field first? The woman from the Scorpio race said coldly. Scarlet Feather King and the others nodded and prepared to take action. However, before they could move, a few figures ran over. These figures were covered in flames. They flapped their wings and arrived in front of Scarlet Feather King. They knelt down on one knee and bawled their eyes out. This scene had all the top geniuses of the ancient immortal realms stunned. Scarlet Feather King was also stunned. Then, his face turned gloomy. Damn it! Stand up. Why are you crying? His face turned black because this was too embarrassing. The Scarlet Feather race was also a royal race. They were extremely powerful. Now his people were crying out loud. This made him feel like he had lost all his face. These Scarlet Feather race archaic creatures stood up. However, their eyes were still crying and their feathers were shaking. Your Majesty, you must avenge us. That's right. Kill that kid. Kill that Lin Xian. Their faces turned hideous. They pointed at Lin Xian and trembled. What's going on? Scarlet Feather King frowned. Did something happen? He looked at the few of them and suddenly asked. Why is one person missing? He realized that other than these archaic creatures, another prodigy was missing. That prodigy was highly valued. Our prodigy was killed by that kid. The Scarlet Feather race archaic creatures cried. He was killed. The few top prodigies were stunned. Scarlet Feather King roared. In the next moment, his eyes shone with a sharp light. His body was filled with killing intent. What did you say? This kid killed our prodigy? Lin Xian, I want you dead. Scarlet Feather King raised his head. His eyes were cold as he shouted. The martial artists were so shocked that they almost fell to the ground. He was so angry that he was about to go crazy. Previously, he already had the intention to kill this brat. He was prepared to make a move and kill him when he saw him again. Who would have thought that before he could do anything, Lin Xian had already killed one of their prodigies? Previously, he had suspected that 3 of their prodigies were killed by Lin Xian. However, there was no evidence. Now, there was finally conclusive evidence. How dare you kill our prodigy? That's right. Now that the evidence is conclusive, let's see how you deny it. With Scarlet Feather King backing them, the Scarlet Feather race archaic creatures roared crazily. Lin Xian was extremely calm. So what if I killed him? He deserved to die. He wanted to sneak attack me in the dark tunnel. Do you think I won't fight back? Chapter 2935. That's not a reason. If the Red Wing tribe wants to kill you, you have to stretch out your neck and accept your death. How dare you fight back? I'll tear you into pieces. Lord Redwing did not care at all. It was not his tribe that attacked first. Lord Redwing was so powerful that he could kill anyone he wanted in one move. If you dare to resist, you have to die. Hearing that, the human prodigies felt their scalps go numb. He's too arrogant. He's simply bullying us. However, did Lin Xian look so easy to bully? Sure enough, Lin Xian sneered. How overbearing. Do I have to stretch out my neck to die just because you want to kill me? What a joke. To tell you the truth, I was the one who killed the 3 Red-Winged tribe prodigies. Why? Do you want to kill me? If you don't like it, come and bite me. Lin Xian was also angry. His opponent was too arrogant, and did not take him seriously at all. He did not plan to let this enemy go. I'll settle everything today. Good boy, you admit it. I won't let you go for killing my prodigies. Now die. With a roar, Lord Redwing attacked mercilessly. He was embarrassed when he was pushed back by his opponent. So now, he attacked with a fatal blow. His arms were covered in red feathers. Flames overflowed into the sky, and light shone brilliantly. He turned into a divine bird and swooped down. The divine bird was extraordinarily mighty. It was 100 feet long, and covered the sky. With a wave of its claws, it tore through the void. The surrounding people hurriedly retreated. Just the aura alone was enough to make their bodies split open. I'm not afraid of you. Do you really think you can show off in front of me just because you're an invincible king? Lin Xian also shouted angrily. The 9 suns' divine fire on his body surged. His palm turned into a golden crow and charged forward. The golden crow and the divine bird collided in the sky. In an instant, the two of them exchanged more than 30 moves. Each move was earth-shattering. So this is Lord Redwing? He's too powerful. The prodigies on the human side exclaimed. The previous generation's saints and the previous generation's saints had solemn expressions. Many of them were trembling, and the qi and blood in their bodies had frozen. Of course, what shocked them even more was that Lin Xian was able to contend with King Qiyu. Lin Xian was not at a disadvantage. How could this brat have such formidable strength? Those archaic life forms trembled. The top prodigies of the Sky Scorpion race and the Stone race also frowned. This brat was a great enemy, and he had to get rid of him quickly. With Red Feather King attacking, he would definitely be killed. Indeed, the Red Feather King was powerful. His bloodline was heaven-defying, and he was an invincible king. His strength was far beyond the human race. The reason why this kid could fight back now was because Red Feather King did not use his trump card. Kill! Lin Xian roared in front of him. He waved his hand, and 10 golden crows appeared. They connected with each other and formed a Tao diagram. He rushed over and trapped the divine bird. The divine bird spread its wings, but it was firmly suppressed. Many cracks appeared on its surface. How could this be? Red Feather King was shocked. His opponent's strength was beyond his imagination. He never thought that his opponent would be able to contend with him. He had never fought with Lin Xian before. In his opinion, so what if his opponent was famous? However, the archaic prodigies he had challenged before were all weak. He was a true invincible king. Once he made a move, he would definitely be able to defeat the other party. Previously, he was forced to take 3 of Lin Xian's moves. Although it was embarrassing, he did not take it seriously. He was only passively defending. If he really attacked, how could his opponent be his opponent? But they had already exchanged more than 50 moves. He did not hold back in any of them. Even so, his opponent was still able to withstand them. His opponent's strength had even numbed his arm. Now there were cracks on his body. This was not something that could be explained by underestimating his opponent. This meant that his opponent's strength was far beyond his imagination. This brat could not be left alive. He had to be killed. Red Feather King's killing intent surged. His opponent was too terrifying. If he was allowed to continue growing, he would definitely become a powerful enemy in the future. He had to take advantage of this opportunity to kill him. Buzz! Thinking of this, a fiery red light appeared on Red Feather King's body. His strength suddenly erupted. The divine bird also let out a furious roar and shattered the 10 golden crow illusions. However, in the next moment, the divine bird's illusions disappeared. Lin Xian and Red Feather King both retreated 10 steps and faced each other. They were evenly matched. They were really evenly matched. Yes, he could actually contend with Red Feather King. It was too unbelievable. The surrounding martial artists screamed. The archaic creatures looked as if they had seen a ghost. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had to admit that Red Feather King was indeed strong. He had the right to be arrogant. His opponent's strength was even above Bai Qianshan's. He was indeed a young invincible king. You're strong. You deserve my full strength, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. What? Full strength? Once these words came out, everyone went crazy. What did he mean? Weren't those ferocious attacks from before all of them? They could not believe it. Red Feather King snorted. Brat, don't be so arrogant. Next, I'll let you see my ultimate move. Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. Lin Xian's eyes turned cold. His aura suddenly erupted. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared, and a terrifying sword chi soared into the sky. Damn it! His aura became stronger again. Red Feather King's pupils shrank. He realized that his opponent was not bluffing. He could actually increase his strength. Humph! Die! Red Feather King roared and waved his hands. His hands turned into the Red Feather Divine Bird again. This time, the Divine Bird was incomparably real. It was as if a real archaic beast had been resurrected. With a cry, it tore through the void. Red Feather Divine Claw! This was the Red Feather Clan's super powerful ability. This was their bloodline ability. Many archaic Sky Prides screamed. Even the top Sky Prides of the Stone Clan and Scorpio Clan looked solemn. It seemed that Red Feather King was really angry. Brat, you're dead. Red Feather King revealed a sinister smile. However, in the next moment, his pupils shrank and his figure retreated. At the same time, his face became incomparably ferocious. Get lost! Because just as he used the Red Feather Divine Claw, the void split open. A biting cold sword light slashed directly at him, wanting to split him in half. In shock, he quickly retreated and waved his Red Feather Divine Claw. In an instant, dozens of archaic Divine Bird phantoms flew out and attacked the sword light. Boom! 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 Energy exploded, and tens of thousands of auras surged. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. The surrounding people frantically retreated. Under the horrified gaze of the crowd, the dozens of archaic Divine Bird phantoms were cut into pieces. That sword chi was too sharp. It was like an eternal divine light. It was unstoppable. Wherever it passed, everything was destroyed. After shattering dozens of divine claws, the sword light once again shot towards King Red Feather in an extremely cold manner. Ah! Red Feather King roared. The divine wings on his back turned into a heavenly blade and slashed at the void, deflecting the sword light. At the same time, he soared into the sky with flames on his body. Chapter 2936. Damn brat, you've completely angered me! Scarlet Moon King roared. Is that so? Not only will I anger you, but I'll also kill you! Lin Xian snorted coldly. The 9 suns divine fire formed a flaming divine sword. 9 suns split the sky. The sword slashed out, and the entire world seemed to be split apart. At this moment, even the top prodigies trembled. They sensed a deadly threat. Oh no, this brat's sword chi is too strong! Scarlet Feather King's face was extremely gloomy. He roared and activated his bloodline power without hesitation. Behind him, the shadow of a bloodline appeared. This was the ancestors' shadow in their bloodline. At this moment, it was displayed, and together with the immemorial divine claw, they clawed forward. The power of this attack was extremely terrifying. Even the other prodigies did not dare to take it head-on. There were probably not many people in the human race who could withstand it. Boom! The moment the two attacks collided, the space was mercilessly torn apart. The entire world was dyed red by flames and angry roars. Whoosh! A moment later, a miserable cry was heard. An arm fell from the sky. Scarlet Feather King screamed and retreated. The ancient shadow that was activated by his bloodline was destroyed and dissipated in the sky. Not only that, but one of his arms was also chopped off by the sword. There was no blood left because the blood had already evaporated in the terrifying 9 suns divine fire. What? Scarlet Feather King was injured. Heavens! Everyone was terrified and could not believe it. Scarlet Feather King was an invincible king of the younger generation. His bloodline was extremely strong, but he was injured by Lin Xian's sword. How terrifying was Lin Xian! Scarlet Feather King's face was also filled with malevolence. He could not believe that he was injured. Although it was only a broken arm, it was a great humiliation to him. Ah! He roared into the sky, and the feathers on his body expanded. His body was also constantly growing. In the end, he was no longer in human form, but a beast with blood-red feathers. It was a divine bird. Its feathers were as if made of blood-red metal. The flames on it were monstrous, and its cold eyes were emitting monstrous killing intent. He had transformed into his true form. The Archean prodigies were shocked. Normally, they would not transform into their true forms unless they had no other choice. But now, King Red Feather didn't even have a trace of his human form. This meant that the other party was truly furious. After transforming into his true form, his battle prowess would increase enormously, reaching an unimaginable level. Whoosh! As expected, King Red Feather's speed increased a lot in an instant. He tore through the void and arrived behind Lin Xian. A pair of sharp claws mercilessly tore down, carrying with them the will of his bloodline and terrifying flame runes. This attack tore apart the divine flames on Lin Xian's body and blasted towards Lin Xian's head. Not good. Seeing this scene, a lot of people started to scream. Even Murong Qingchen gasped. If she were to be caught like this, her heart would probably be crushed. Those archaic creatures laughed. The Red-Winged King was indeed angry. After transforming into his true form, that brat would definitely not be able to contend against him. He would probably be killed in one move. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. King Red Feather retreated once again, flapping his wings and tearing through the void. In an instant, he was thousands of miles away. His face became incomparably ferocious. His sharp claws had been shattered. Lin Xian turned his head. You're just SOSO. The attack just now had caused his blood to boil, and he had suffered some internal injuries. However, the 9-yang divine body was too powerful. His opponent couldn't break it. Even if he transformed into his true form, it still wouldn't work. Hearing this, King Red Feather roared. I'll make you die without a burial place. Then, he launched a storm-like attack. One had to admit that King Red Feather was terrifying. Other than Lin Xian, Yi Wudao, and a few other geniuses, no one else could resist him. They couldn't even withstand a single move. Even the human race's holy sons couldn't find any trace of King Red Feather. It was too fast, so fast that it was unimaginable. Lin Xian also felt the pressure, but fortunately, the 9-yang divine body was incomparably strong. Although he had been hit many times, it was still fine. However, his body didn't break. Instead, his opponent's claws had been shattered 7 or 8 times. Die for me! King Red Feather descended from the sky. His 2 wings intertwined in the sky, forming a cross shape, and slashed down. A terrifying aura overflowed, bringing with it flaming divine chains that descended from the sky. This was a one-hit kill. Buzz! Lin Xian didn't hold back. He waved the 9-yang sword art, combined with the power of the great dragon sword soul, and a dragon-shaped sword she soared into the sky. Those flaming runes collided with a terrifying sound that made one's soul tremble. So powerful! Lin Xian was shocked. King Red Feather was actually able to block his 9-yang sword art. It was too unbelievable. Perhaps even Bai Qianshan would have been killed by this attack. However, King Red Feather was actually able to block it. One had to admit that it was really shocking. Humph! King Red Feather snorted again, and a rumbling sound came from his body. The terrifying power skyrocketed again. With a puff, the sword she pierced through the flaming runes. King Red Feather's wings were shattered. With a cracking sound, the bones of King Red Feather's wings cracked and deformed. King Red Feather was sent flying. His face was full of shock. What kind of power was this? It was unbelievable that his wings could be broken. These divine wings were the hardest part of his body. Not only did they allow him to fly quickly, but they were also his weapons. His wings were comparable to a half-saint tool. However, they were shattered by King Red Feather. Kill! Lin Xian soared into the sky like a true dragon, rushing towards the 9 heavens and attacking King Redwing. He already had the intention to kill. How could he let King Red Feather live? Caw caw caw! King Red Feather's body was covered in flames, and his broken bones were all restored. He was incomparably ferocious, and he also attacked. His two wings kept dancing, like a heavenly blade that could destroy the world, cutting through the void. However, they were shattered by Lin Xian's powerful strength again. This time, not only were the wings broken, but they were also torn into pieces. Blood mist filled the air. Let's see how many times you can regrow them. Lin Xian was abnormally strong. Endless sword she wrapped around his hands, turning into two dragon heads, and directly grabbed King Red Feather's wings. Damn it! Get lost! King Red Feather kept shaking. His strongest weapon was caught by King Red Feather. How could he endure it? At this moment, he was in the form of a divine bird. Although he was caught, his mouth and claws could still be used. He opened his mouth and spat out a monstrous divine flame that could destroy the world, enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian was enveloped by the flame, and traces of cracks appeared on his body. One could imagine how terrifying the flame was. However, he was not afraid at all. The nine-yang divine body was invincible. Although the divine flame was terrifying, he could still withstand it. Ka! His palms were like two real dragons, coiling around King Red Feather's body, causing the pair of divine wings that had just grown out to crack again. Not only that, it seemed like Lin Xian wanted to pull out the wings completely. Chapter 29:37. This scene made King Redwing go crazy. At the same time, there was a trace of fear. If he really pulled it out, he would probably be seriously injured, and it would be difficult for him to recover. Therefore, he attacked crazily. Two sharp claws with mysterious runes bombarded fiercely. Boom! 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 Lin Xian's body was badly mutilated, and he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. It was obvious that this attack had left him traumatized. However, Lin Xian's eyes glowed even brighter. Shatter! With a furious roar, he forcibly plucked the two pairs of wings out of his body. Ah! King Redwing fell from the sky and landed on the ground with a deafening sound. Skyfire City was very sturdy. Although it was a battle between top prodigies, it did not shatter. Below, all the bones in King Redwing's body were shattered. It was too tragic. Everyone's scalp went numb. Murong Qingqing and the others also exclaimed. Lin Xian's brother! They were worried about Lin Xian. Blood flowed on Lin Xian's body. Although it was shining, there were countless cracks on it. It seemed that it would shatter at any time. Lin Xian was still extraordinary. He stood there, surrounded by divine fire, and used the longevity art to quickly heal his injuries. At the same time, he swallowed treasures in big mouthfuls. In his hand, he held two flaming wings, which were hanging down mercilessly. King Redwing's back was a mess of flesh and blood. There were two bloody holes there, and blood flowed wildly. It was difficult to heal in a short time. The reason for that was because that strike had injured his source energy. Invincible King? That's all you got? You think you can look down on me with such strength? Lin Xian's voice was cold as he strode forward. Following his footsteps, the cracks on his body quickly healed. Swords circled around him. Bang! He waved his palm, and the broken wings in his hand slashed forward. With a clang, it slashed King Redwing's body, sending him flying. King Redwing flew backward, and a few more cracks appeared on his body. Damn it! He roared crazily. At this moment, he was extremely sullen. He actually brought it, and he was seriously injured. He was defeated by his opponent. This was unbearable. He wanted to fight back. However, his two divine wings had been pulled out, causing him to receive damage to his origin. For the time being, he was unable to recover. Although he had consumed the primordial divine medicine, he could only recover about half of his strength. This little bit of strength was simply unable to contend against the other party. Lin Xian waved his hand again and sent his opponent flying. At the same time, he descended from the sky and stomped on the other party's head. With a loud bang, the other party's head was stomped out of shape. Ah! King Red Feather raised his head and roared madly. A terrifying power burst out once again. This time, he burned his bloodline power. Lin Xian also received heavy injuries. His soles were cracked, and countless cracks appeared on his body. His 9-yang divine body almost collapsed again. However, he did not back down at all. Even though the soles of his feet were cracked, he still stomped down. Puff! Puff! King Redwing's head was completely deformed, and countless cracks appeared on his body. At this moment, both of them were seriously injured. However, one was standing there like a god of war, while the other was being trampled underfoot, suffering all kinds of humiliation. No! Damn it! Let go of our king! The primordial beasts of the Redwing race screamed crazily. They could not accept this scene. Kill him! He is seriously injured. Let's join forces and break his 9-yang divine body. These primordial beasts roared crazily. These people also made their move. They also transformed into their true forms. Primordial divine birds danced in the sky. They charged towards Lin Xian. In an instant, the void around Lin Xian shattered. Buzz! Lin Xian waved his arm. The sword chi in his hand turned into hundreds of fire dragons and sent the primordial beasts flying. Looking at this scene, everyone's eyes widened, and their expressions were filled with terror. It was too terrifying. Lin Xian's body was now covered with countless cracks, and his body was dyed red with blood. However, his combat strength was still so strong. He sent so many primordial beasts flying with a single strike. Especially the primordial geniuses. They looked at Lin Xian, and their souls trembled. This was because they felt that the other party was like a god of war. Damn it, how could this kid be so strong? Many people's faces were gloomy. On the ground, the Red Lunar King, who was being stepped on, was trembling. How could he not die? He was about to go crazy. He suspected that Lin Xian was not human at all. He was a demon. A monstrous demon that could not be defeated. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and snorted coldly. He directly took out endless treasures from the black earth. Among them was an 8,000-year-old king medicine. He directly swallowed it. When they saw this king medicine, the surrounding people were amazed, and their eyes burned with passion. The Red Lunar King's pupils constricted, and his heart gradually sank. King medicine was an extremely precious existence. Although he was a young invincible genius, he did not have such a thing. This was used to extend one's lifespan. It was only available to those elders whose lifespans were about to dry up. However, the other party actually had such a king medicine. Moreover, he took it out and swallowed it to heal his injuries. Many people's mouths twitched. What a waste! If this king medicine was outside, those living fossils would fight over it. Buzz! Buzz! When Lin Xian had fused with his greater success divine body, he had swept through all 4 directions, intimidating many of the 10,000 ancient races. At that time, the 10,000 ancient races had handed over a large number of treasures to protect their safety, including several king medicines. Now Lin Xian took it out and consumed it. When he swallowed the king medicine, he felt a powerful force explode in his body, quickly healing his body. The cracks on his 9-yang divine body were quickly healing. His body healed? This was impossible. Damn it, how did he do it? Even if the king medicine's effects were strong, it was impossible to heal so quickly. This was simply a legend. At this moment, the geniuses of the Scorpio race, the Stone race, and the human race, Yuwadao, Dustless, and the others were all shocked. Was this the power of the 9-yang divine body? Yuwadao's eyes shone. At the side, Dustless frowned. That shouldn't be. He seemed to have an extremely powerful recovery technique. Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. As for the other geniuses, their faces were terrifyingly dark. The other party was simply unkillable. If this continued, who would be his match? Any last words? Leave them. Lin Xian stared at King Redwing and said coldly. What? You want to kill me? King Redwing's body trembled, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. Then it turned into rage. Damn it, you dare to kill me? Do you know who I am? Do you know what the consequences of killing me are? Indeed, he wasn't even 500 years old, but his cultivation had reached the level of an invincible king. He was definitely one of the top geniuses of the Redwing race. Such a person was no weaker than the descendants of the previous generations. If he died, the Redwing race would definitely go crazy and kill Lin Xian. Chapter 2938. Lin Xian shook his head. Such threats are useless against me. Since you dare to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Since you have no last words, I'll send you on your way. Lin Fan raised his palm slowly. Wisps of 9 suns' divine fire turned into terrifying sword chi and swept across the sky. No! Lord Redwing roared crazily. But this time, his body was crushed by the golden foot and blood gushed out. He could not resist at all. Those Redwing tribe members were also sent flying by Lin Xian's sword and landed heavily on the ground. They could only watch helplessly. Ah, damn brat! Let go of our king! If you dare to kill him, our Redwing tribe will hunt you down no matter where you run to. They roared crazily. However, Lin Xian's palm was still descending slowly. There was no sign of stopping. Not good. Quick! Stop that brat. Don't let him kill Lord Redwing. In the distance, the top prodigies of the Scorpio tribe and the Sure tribe looked at each other and quickly made their moves. Buzz! The lady from the Scorpio tribe swung her tail and drew a silver ribbon. It pierced through the void and brought with it runes that filled the sky. On the other side, the void trembled. Terrifying yellow runes flashed and a giant stone hand fell from the sky, enveloping Lin Xian. In an instant, the 2 top prodigies from the Archean era attacked mercilessly. Not good! Seeing this, the martial artist's eyelids twitched. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. His body swayed and disappeared from the spot. With a loud boom, the void exploded. Scarlet Feather King roared and escaped. Thank you for your help. I can't thank you enough. If you need anything in the future, please don't hesitate to ask. Lord Redwing looked at the top prodigies of the Scorpio tribe and the Sure tribe with gratitude. If it weren't for the 2 of them, he probably would have been killed by that attack just now. On the other side, Lin Xian dodged the attacks of the 2 prodigies and appeared in the void. His face was extremely gloomy. You 2 want to fight too? Stop. You've already won this battle. There's no need to kill. The prodigy of the Scorpio race said. The geniuses of the Stone tribe also nodded. They would protect this person. You guys protected him? Lin Xian's face turned extremely cold. So, you want to be my enemy? Kid, enough is enough. Although you are very strong, you are not a match for the 2 of us. With the 2 of us working together, it's easy to kill you. So you'd better think it through. The words of the Stone tribe's genius were laced with a thick threat. Lin Xian looked up to the sky and laughed. If I want to kill someone, not even the Heavenly Emperor can stop me. Therefore, he must die today. Lin Xian raised a hand and pointed at the Scarlet Moon Monarch. Red Feather King's body trembled, his eyes filled with anger. Damned brat! The fact that the other party still wanted to kill him made him furious. The Sky Prides of the Stone tribe and the Scorpio tribe also darkened their expressions. They had already made it clear that they would protect King Red Feather. However, the other party actually wanted to kill him. What was the meaning of this? Were they looking down on him? Humph, I want to see how you are going to kill me. King Red Feather sneered. Although he was seriously injured and was not a match for the other party, he was definitely safe with the protection of the Sky Prides of the Stone tribe and the Scorpio tribe. As expected, runes bloomed on the bodies of the Sky Prides of the Stone tribe and the Scorpio tribe. They would not allow the other party to kill King Red Feather. Lin Xian did not move. A cold light flashed in his eyes. The golden runes quickly intertwined, forming a mysterious pattern that flew forward. The moment the pattern appeared, it brought with it an extremely strong aura. Everyone's expression changed. The pupils of the Sky Prides of the Stone tribe and the Scorpio tribe shrank. Damn it, what kind of attack is this? They were about to go crazy because when they were stared at by the eyes, even their souls began to tremble. Not good. King Redfeather's eyelids twitched wildly. When the eyes swept past him, the cracks on his body became even more severe. What kind of gaze was this? What was the other party using? He did not have time to find out. The runes in the sky flew out. Damn it! Block it from me! The Sky Prides of the Scorpio tribe and the Stone tribe roared. The two of them joined forces and launched a shocking attack. They turned into two divine rainbows and rushed forward, wanting to block the mysterious golden runes. Not good, everyone retreat quickly. Don't be hit by this energy. The surrounding primordial creatures and human Sky Prides roared crazily. They knew that the shocking attack of the three of them would definitely be extremely terrifying. They quickly retreated to the back. But soon they were stunned. That was because they realized that there was no terrifying explosion of energy as they had imagined. The golden runes were like a divine sword that directly broke the attacks of the two Sky Prides. They charged forward. With a puff, the powerful defense of the two Sky Prides was pierced through. Moreover, it pierced through King Red Moon's head. Puff! Puff! Blood splattered. A bloody hole appeared in King Redfeather's head. His eyes were wide open. Not only was his physical body destroyed, but his soul was also pierced through. Impossible! King Redfeather spat out 3 words with difficulty before falling to the ground. He was no longer breathing. Dead? Everyone was dumbfounded. The Sky Prides of the Scorpio tribe and the Stone tribe were stunned. Their bodies were cold, and their scalps were about to explode. What was that attack just now? How could he so easily break through the powerful attacks of the two of them? It killed King Redfeather. If this attack was used on them, would they be able to block it? They did not know. At this moment, they looked at Lin Xian with a face full of fear. The others were trembling. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with golden runes as he frowned slightly. The attack just now was one of the 3 runes he had obtained from the Black Passage. Previously, he had used his heavenly secret divine eyes to copy the 3 runes. When he used them, their power was truly terrifying. However, this attack had consumed 1/3 of his soul power. He felt a little dizzy. Therefore, he would not use this unless he had no other choice. After swallowing 2 pills, he looked at the Sky Prides of the Scorpio tribe and the Stone tribe again. Do you two still want to fight? The Sky Prides of the Scorpio tribe were stunned, while the Sky Prides of the Stone tribe snorted coldly. Their faces were extremely ugly. How could they fight? Lin Xian had already killed King Redfeather and used such a powerful trump card. They were not fools. If they fought, they would either be killed or seriously injured. Why bother? They did not have a strong conflict with Lin Xian yet. Therefore, the two of them did not say anything. They turned to look at the fiery pagoda and tried to break through it with all their might. The primordial creatures of the Red Feather tribe screamed crazily. They held King Redwing's body and cried, but they were all slapped away by the dark red dragon's claw. Get lost! This thing was Benhuang's. It was Benhuang's lunch today. Chapter 2939. The Crimson Divine Dragon kept King Redwing's corpse. The other 10,000 ancient races and human race geniuses were terrified. Lin Xian was too strong. He had killed King Redwing. King Redwing was a young invincible king. How strong was he? His Archean power was definitely above 40,000. However, he was killed so easily. Even the geniuses of the Stone tribe and Scorpio tribe didn't dare to fight him. This kid was too terrifying. Perhaps only the 3 Archean theocrats could subdue him. Yi Wudao, Dustless, and the others looked solemn. What were those runes? Why did they feel like they were the runes in the Black Passage? Impossible. Even we can't copy them. How can he copy them? They were extremely puzzled. However, if Lin Xian didn't say anything, they wouldn't understand. After killing King Redwing, Lin Xian looked up at the flamed pagoda. At this moment, the geniuses of the Stone tribe and Scorpio tribe looked solemn. They held the flame pagoda and communicated with their souls. Damn it. Can you see what this kid is using? I don't know. It's very similar to the runes in the Black Passage. Does he have a way to copy them? This kid is too strange. We can't provoke him. Don't worry. He killed King Redwing. The Redwing tribe won't let them off. We don't have to do anything. Someone will kill him. Let's break the pagoda and find the Archean theocrats. While the geniuses were preparing to break the flamed pagoda, in another region, in front of a mysterious palace, a group of powerful Archean creatures stood there. They were the 3 theocrats of the nest of 10,000 dragons. The first 3 were the Fire Dragon King, the 7th, and the 9th generations. Among them, the 9th Lord of the Divine Emperor Ridge had a pair of phoenix eyes that were filled with anger. Her beautiful face was also covered with ice. Damn you, Huomuzhen. Tell us how to break the formation and enter the palace. She looked at the handsome young man from the Fire Qilin cave and gritted her teeth. They were one step ahead of the others and reached the 4th region. At this moment, they wanted to break the formation and enter the palace. This palace was even more majestic than the flame shrine in the 2nd region. However, it was also more dangerous. Previously, they had used their powerful strength to break through the first 3 regions. But now, he couldn't. If they tried to break it by force, they would probably be seriously injured. It was very likely that he would be killed. Therefore, they could only slowly crack the formation. In this way, time was delayed. More importantly, the Divine Emperor Ridge had used several powerful array masters to crack the array. However, there was no effect at all. Even the people from Hu Wanlong's lair were frowning. However, the people from the Fire Qilin cave had an expression of watching a show. This was especially true for Huomuzhen, who was addressed as the 7th master. His words carried a hint of mockery. This made the 9th generation Lord of the Divine Phoenix Ridge so angry that he was about to vomit blood. Fengnianxue, you can't crack it yourself. Could it be that you want to vent your anger on me? Huomuzhen sneered. Damned fellow, do you think you have a way? Don't think I don't know. Fengnianxue was so angry that her face turned deathly pale. This was because she had been following these people from the Fire Qilin cave all along the way, which was why her speed was so fast. The other party definitely understood Heavenly Flame City. Therefore, at this moment, she also believed that the other party definitely had a way to break the formation. However, the other party didn't want to say it. Don't try to shake us off. Your Fire Qilin cave can enter on your own. Let me tell you, no way. Right, Fire Dragon King? Fengnianxue glanced at the Fire Dragon King. It seemed that she wanted to join forces with the nest of 10,000 dragons to pressure the Fire Qilin cave. Sure enough, the Fire Dragon King also said indifferently, Brother Muzhen, if you have a way, just say it. Our 3 great imperial families should be of the same breadth and branch, advancing and retreating together. Of the same breadth and branch? Advancing and retreating together? The experts from the Fire Qilin cave rolled their eyes. They didn't believe such nonsense. However, they didn't dare to say it out loud. Huomuzhen said with a smile, Actually, I do know a little about this method of breaking the formation. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King frowned. Fengnianxue, who was at the side, gnashed her teeth in anger. Damn it, I told you, you know it. You know it, yet you don't crack it? You made me waste so much effort for nothing. What are your intentions? Facing Fengnianxue's strong questioning, Huomuzhen wasn't afraid at all. Although he had a delicate face and looked like he was only 15 or 16 years old, his eyes were incomparably old. The stars inside were extinguished. He said in a deep voice, We can break it, but our Fire Qilin cave won't provide the method for free. Looking at the majesty of this hall and the strength of the formation, this should be an extremely important place. Then, the things inside are naturally very precious. I really want to know, after we break in, how should we distribute the things inside? Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King narrowed his eyes. So, this was the other party's idea. No wonder the other party hadn't made a move. It turned out that he was waiting for them here. Fengnianxue naturally knew this. Her face was cold. How do you want to distribute it? It was very simple. Huimuzhin's eyes erupted with a piercing cold light, and the shadow of a fire qilin surrounded him. He said, I can provide the method to break it and bring you in. However, after entering, our fire qilin cave wants half of the treasures inside. We don't care about the rest. You two can divide it. What? Half of it? As soon as these words were spoken, the expressions of the geniuses from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine emperor scale all changed. The fire dragon king frowned, and Feng Yinxue sneered. Half of it? Aren't you afraid that you'll die from overeating? Does your fire qilin cave really think you're the best in the world? At this point, a fire phoenix shadow also rose from his body, emitting a resplendent aura that stirred up the winds and clouds in all directions. The fire dragon king didn't say anything. However, the pressure on his body also became terrifying. Countless large cracks appeared in the surrounding void. Behind them, the geniuses from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine emperor ridge were the same. All of them had unfriendly expressions as they stared at the fire qilin cave. The other party was really too despicable. They were all ancient royal families, and no one was stronger than the other. However, the other party opened his mouth and asked for half of the treasures. What did this mean? Was he looking down on them? Brother Muzhin, isn't your request a little too much? The fire dragon king's voice was cold. Too much? I don't think so. If you think this distribution method is unreasonable, fine, we won't cooperate. The two of you, think of a way to go in yourselves. Huimuzhin was looking at the sky with his hands behind his back. Damn it, do you really think you're invincible? Before the fire dragon king could speak, Feng Yinxue stood up. The phoenix shadow on her body became even more solid. Terrifying flames overflowed into the sky, carrying mysterious runes as they flew toward Huimuzhin. Huimuzhin also sneered. Feng Yinxue, do you really think I'm afraid of you? In terms of bloodline, you're far inferior to me. There was a hint of sharpness in his eyes. Chapter 2940. Indeed, he was the 7th-generation lord, and the other party was the 9th-generation lord. In his opinion, the other party was courting death for daring to fight him. Roar! On Huimuzhin's body, flames surged into the sky, dazzling and resplendent. Around him, the phantom of a fire qilin appeared, letting out a ferocious roar. A ferocious aura surged out, confronting the flaming phoenixes that filled the sky. Seeing this scene, the people of the three archaic royal families were extremely nervous. The expressions of those elites changed, and they frantically retreated. They had no choice, these two were too terrifying. One was the 9th-generation lord, and the other was the 7th-generation lord. Both of them were extremely terrifying elites. Probably no one present was a match for them except for the fire dragon king. Now that they were fighting, just the shockwaves from the energy waves were too much for them to bear. On the other side, the fire dragon king did not retreat, but he also did not make a move. The phantom of a fire dragon circled around his body, and his powerful aura suppressed the surroundings. It seemed that he was thinking about how to not fall out with them, and how to get the people of the fire qilin cave to help. For a moment, the atmosphere in the entire space was very tense, and a battle could erupt at any time. In the third region, Lin Xian and the others raised their heads and looked at the burning flame pagoda in front of them. Kid, be careful. The flames on the pagoda are very powerful, and it seems that the higher you go, the more terrifying it is. The Crimson Dragon reminded from the side. Lin Xian nodded. As expected, he also realized that the flames on the pagoda were even more terrifying than the flames in the second region. It should be able to refine his 9-yang divine body again. Thinking of this, he was a little excited. Great! Now that he was already at the 3rd level of the 9-yang divine body, he must cultivate to the 4th level of the 9-yang divine body in Skyfire City. Because if he reached the 4th level, his body would undergo another earth-shattering change. At that time, there would not be many invincible kings who could break his body. However, He also knew that it would be more and more dangerous. He might not be able to protect all the immortal palaces. Therefore, at the next moment, Lin Xian turned his head and said to Peacock, Hui Dao, Ghostly, and the other immortal palaces' martial artists behind him. Next, you must be more careful. I may not be by your side all the time. Firstly, do what you can and don't take too many risks. Furthermore, he had to be careful of the other 10,000 ancient races. Don't worry, Palace Master, we will be careful. Peacock and the rest nodded, their expressions solemn. He wasn't the only one. Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, Leaf Dao Denier, and the others all gave similar orders to the disciples of their clans. From the looks of it, these top geniuses were going to act alone. Let's go. Sure enough, the sky prides of the Scorpio race, the stone race, and the other Archean prodigies all shouted coldly. He quickly rushed into the flaming pagoda. Let's go. With a wave of his hand, Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu also rushed forward. Soon, they entered the fiery pagoda. After entering the first level, they were surrounded by an endless sea of fire, which surged toward them from all directions. Every inch of space was filled with the power of flames. It was extremely terrifying. What a terrifying flame energy! Damn it, get lost! Furious roars sounded out as many people unleashed their king's domains to resist. Some of the weaker ones were instantly burned to ashes. Some were even blasted away by the shockwave. Terrifying scenes were taking place one after another, scaring the martial artists who wanted to get close and forcing them to retreat. It was too terrifying. Without super strength, it was impossible to enter. Moreover, this was only the first level. This fiery pagoda had a total of 7 levels. Only the heavens knew how terrifying the cities above were. Lin Xian activated his 9-yang divine body, and light bloomed to resist the surrounding flames. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu also activated their king's domains, and runes circled around them. They couldn't resist the power of the flames with just their physique like Lin Xian. There probably weren't many people like Lin Xian. Lin Xian was one, Yi Wudao was another, and the Crimson Dragon and Dustless were the others. The last one was the Sky Pride of the Stone Race. These were all top geniuses with super strong physiques. The others used their own methods to resist. Lin Xian sensed for a moment, and then his eyes lit up. Qingqing, Qiu, you two be careful. Don't worry, brother Lin Xian, I can do it. Brother Xian, you don't have to worry about me, the two of them said. Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, although the flames on the first level were strong, he wasn't satisfied. He decided to go to the second level. Lin Xian strode towards the second level. This scene caused the hearts of the geniuses from the supreme ancient immortal realms to tremble. This kid is too scary. Yeah, we're almost at our limits, but he's fine. Ha ha! Ben Wang went too. The Crimson Dragon's body was also extremely strong. His dragon blood surged as he rushed out. On the other side, Yi Wudao, Dustless, the Sky Prides of the Stone Race, Silver Race, and some other powerful archaic creatures all headed towards the second level. The other humans and archaic Sky Prides gritted their teeth, unwilling to give up. They also tried their best to advance. Everyone wanted to climb higher. The flames on the second level were even more terrifying. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as a smile appeared on his face. Not bad. Interesting. He turned around and saw that Yi Wudao and the others had also reached the second level. A few of them tried to force their way up, but their bodies were instantly blasted apart, and they fell to the first level. Lin Xian glanced and saw that there were many archaic creatures and even human sky prides. Shaking his head, he ignored them. The second level wasn't enough. Lin Xian sensed for a moment, and decided to go to the third level. Damn, many of the archaic sky prides were cursing. This guy was too sick. They couldn't keep up. The Sky Prides of the Stone Race and the Scorpio Race shouted coldly. Ignore them and experience it yourself. Damn it! These people suppressed the anger and jealousy in their hearts for the time being and watched Lin Xian walk forward. Beside him, Yi Wudao's figure flashed as he headed towards the third level. He had a saint body, and was extremely strong. Therefore, the flames on the second level naturally couldn't satisfy him. A few other archaic sky prides left at the same time, including Dustless of the Western Desert. When he reached the third level, Lin Xian stopped temporarily. He began to guide the flames around him to temper his 9-yang divine body. Yi Wudao and the others did the same. Everyone settled down on the third level for the time being. The atmosphere was terrifyingly quiet. However, the silence only lasted for an incense stick's worth of time before a violent tremor spread out. The entire flame pagoda seemed to be on the verge of cracking. The surrounding sea of flames continued to spread, shattering the void. Many people screamed again. Damn it, what happened? Chapter 2941. The power of the flames here had actually increased. Lin Xian also suddenly opened his eyes. With a cold shout, his body bloomed with light and quickly absorbed the flames. At the same time, he frowned. What happened? It came from above. Yi Wudao raised his head and looked up. Could it be that someone had gone up? Some of the other primordial geniuses were also shocked. The Scorpio race's genius said, "We are not the first group. The 3 ancient royal families have already gone there. In addition, there are some terrifying geniuses who went there earlier than us. Most of them acted alone." Indeed. Hearing this, everyone was surprised. It seemed that someone must have gone to a higher level. But who? Why would it cause such a vibration? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Golden light flickered in his eyes as if it could pierce through everything. He seemed to see a few blurry figures above. At the same time, there was a sea of fire that filled the sky. Those flames had turned purple, different from the red flames here. Obviously, it was a more terrifying flame. Among those flames, there was a purple bead that was constantly hovering. The aura of the flames was even more terrifying, bringing with it a monstrous destruction. It even made him tremble slightly. What was that purple bead? So terrifying. It could actually make his 9-yang divine body tremble. Lin Xian was shocked. Could it be the legendary heavenly fire? Through the heavenly secret divine eye, he saw that the purple bead was wrapped in endless purple flames. It was much more intense than the surrounding flames, almost purple to the point of turning black. He did not know if it was the legendary heavenly fire. However, he felt the excitement in his body. That's right, it was the cheers of the 9-yang divine body. This kind of flame was definitely of great help to the improvement of the 9-yang divine body. Lin Xian did not doubt this point. Obtaining it could greatly improve the 9-yang divine body. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a fiery light. This is? On the other side, Wuchen raised his head with a look of surprise. To be honest, this Wuchen was very similar to the 7th-generation lord. They were both 15 or 16 years old, but their eyes were filled with vicissitudes of life and endless secrets. Rumor had it that this Wuchen was the reincarnation of an ancient Buddha, so he must have many secret techniques in his hands. Sure enough, at this moment, it was unknown what kind of divine ability he used, but symbols erupted from his eyes. He was extremely shocked. From the looks of it, he seemed to have noticed the purple flame pearl above as well. Fire Spirit Pearl. He didn't expect to find a Fire Spirit Pearl here. Dustless was shocked. What? There's a treasure above? The other human and Archean sky prides were shocked to hear this. Where is it? The 4th floor or the 5th floor? They didn't know. Someone's expression became serious. It couldn't be the 7th level, right? Let's go and take a look. These people's eyes were burning with passion. Lin Xian also stood up. As long as he could obtain the purple Fire Spirit Pearl, it would definitely be 100 times better than cultivating here. Therefore, he had to speed up. Of course, not everyone wanted the Fire Spirit Pearl. For example, the wavering light Saint Sun stopped when he reached the 4th level. He seemed to have found something and sat down cross-legged. Meanwhile, Leaf Doudenier was stuck in the 5th level. Apart from them, everyone else wanted to ascend to the 6th or even the 7th floor. The flames on the 6th floor instantly turned purple. Everyone's faces turned pale, and they felt despair. As soon as they took half a step, their bodies cracked. Some of them even had half of their bodies burned to ashes. Don't be rash. The purple flames are terrifying. Someone reminded them. Everyone stopped. It seemed that the fire spirit pearl should be in the purple sea of flames. Was it on the 6th or 7th floor? Someone used a powerful ability and directly streaked across the void to look ahead. The 6th and 7th floors seemed to be open and connected. In other words, from here on out, it was the 6th floor. The depths of the purple sea of flames was the 7th floor. Someone else is coming? But you bunch of trash, hurry up and go back. Just as everyone was discussing how to enter the sea of flames and obtain the fire spirit pearl, suddenly, a disdainful sneer came from the sea of flames. What? Someone's here. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect someone to be able to enter the purple flames. Who was it? Was it a prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave? Or was it a prodigy of the other two Archean theocrats? They didn't know. They saw a figure walking over in front of them. What? A human! These Archean creatures were stunned. Not to mention them, Lin Xian and the others were also stunned. Because it was indeed a person. It was a man bathed in purple flames. This person was handsome and had a terrifying aura. His eyes turned into a monstrous sea of flames that seemed to be merging with the surrounding purple flames. It was him. The Five Elements Palace's saint from 2 generations ago, Fan Yuntian. He was very strong and should have reached the level of an invincible king. He was actually a top prodigy of the Five Elements Palace. Many people exclaimed. Lin Xian was also surprised. He was no stranger to the Five Elements Palace. He had even killed the Five Elements Palace's saint. Up until now, the Five Elements Palace had already changed several saints. However, the more the saints changed, the weaker they became. He didn't expect the Five Elements Palace to have such an outstanding prodigy. However, when he heard that he was from 2 generations ago, he understood. Although the other party was also from the younger generation, it was obvious that he was not from the same generation as them. He should have lived for almost 500 years. However, this was not important. What was important was that at this moment, the other party's gaze was like 2 flaming sabers that were looking at everyone. Feeling this gaze, many people's hearts trembled. Even the Archean creatures were the same. Lin Xian frowned because he realized that the other party's gaze stopped on him for 2 seconds. However, it quickly moved away. Get lost! A bunch of ants. This is not a place where you can come so easily. For the sake of your lives, you'd better hurry up and leave. Fan Yutian waved his hand impatiently. Then, he turned around and strode forward. Following his footsteps, the surrounding flames actually dispersed on their own. Damn it, how dare you look down on us? The Archean creatures roared angrily. The Stone Tribe's prodigy's expression was cold. He took a step forward and directly shattered the void. His entire body was bathed in a sea of purple flames. Endless stone runes flickered on his body, blocking the purple flames. The Scorpio Tribe's prodigy laughed but did not make a move. Instead, she looked around with her beautiful eyes. But she did not make a move, but a woman in a black dress walked up. This woman opened her mouth and spat out a jade gourd. The gourd opened and poured out a merciless black water that enveloped her. Underworld river water. Damn it, she actually has such a thing. She's from the Black Tiger tribe, right? Many people stepped back one after another. Chapter 2942. A drop of the Nether River and a million skeletons. The Nether River was formed from countless corpses and had an extremely sinister aura. It could be said that it could only be formed in the primordial battlefield. Who would have thought that the Black Tiger race would have so much Nether River? The moment the extremely cold black water appeared, it enveloped the black-dressed woman and blocked the surrounding purple flames. The black-dressed woman chuckled and quickly walked forward. Someone else made a move. That person walked out with a half-saint artifact. The half-saint artifact turned into a green storm and enveloped his body. He should be a prodigy of the nether ghost race. Many people displayed their powerful techniques. On the side of the human race, a few people also walked out. The Saint of Dian spat out a fire-repelling pearl. Wherever it passed, the purple flames would give way. It seemed that many people were eyeing the fire spirit pearl. A 1-pound crimson dragon whispered, "Kid, what are you going to do?" Lin Xian's eyes flashed. Of course, he would make a move. I must get this thing. It's very important to me. However, there was no hurry. Let's wait and see. It was a good opportunity to use these people to gauge the strength of the people inside. At the same time, he could see how powerful the purple flames were. Previously, Lin Xian had used his heavenly secret divine eyes to see that there were at least 3 figures around the fire spirit pearl. Now that Fan Yuntian had appeared, there should be 2 more who had not come out from the depths of the purple sea. He wondered who those 2 people were. Those people unleashed their various abilities and rapidly proceeded forward. Soon, they were surrounded by an endless sea of purple flames. However, their expressions gradually changed. That was because the purple flames in front of them had suddenly become violent. Balls of flames appeared in the depths of the sea of flames, turning into flaming beasts that roared. Buzz! Many people looked as if they had been struck by lightning. Their bodies were charred black, and some even cracked. Damn it! Even the terrifying geniuses were roaring furiously. Among them, the nether river water on the black tiger race woman's body was also emitting white smoke. It looked like it was about to evaporate. The black-dressed woman did not dare to move forward. On the other side, the prodigy with the half-saint artifact on his head also stopped. That was because his accompanying sacred artifact had received a fierce impact. Although there was no immediate danger to his life, the collision of energy still caused his blood to churn. There was even one person whose magical treasure was torn apart. He was rammed into by a flaming beast. Blood splattered everywhere, and the smell of roasted meat wafted through the air. The geniuses who were standing at the edge of the crowd gasped when they saw this scene. What a terrifying sea of purple flames! Those people were powerful and had many treasures, but they were still unable to reach the innermost part. I really don't know how those people got in. Had their strength already reached such a terrifying level? Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He had seen enough, so there was no need to wait any longer. Kid, are you going to make a move? The Crimson Dragon asked. Why don't we wait and let those people kill each other for a while? When it's about time, we'll clean up the mess. No, those people were very strong. Perhaps some of them could really seize the treasure. Lin Xian's expression was grave. How about this? I'll go alone first, and you'll help me out outside. All right, then be careful. Lin Xian nodded and strode forward. As he took a step forward, white smoke rose from under his feet. Endless purple flames swept toward him crazily, trying to burn him to ashes. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. His 9-yang divine body shone brightly, and the 9-yang divine fire fought against the purple flames. At the same time, he activated his cultivation technique, absorbing the flames as he walked. This kid actually went in on foot. That's right, he didn't use any special ability, nor did he use any powerful treasures. As expected of the 9-yang divine body, one of the strongest physiques in the world. Many people were amazed and envious. The people in front also turned their heads and frowned. Deeper in, 3 figures stood in front of the fire spirit pearl, guarding against each other. At the same time, their eyes were burning with passion. At this moment, Fan Yuntian, the previous saint of 5 Elements Palace, suddenly frowned. He turned his head to look. Is that kid making a move? He really doesn't know what's good for him. He originally wanted to get rid of him after getting the fire spirit pearl, but he didn't expect him to be in such a hurry to die. Since that's the case, I won't stand on ceremony. He naturally recognized Lin Xian. Lin Xian had killed many of their 5 Elements Palace's prodigies, so Fan Yuntian wouldn't let him go. However, it was only a matter of time. Not far away from him, there was also a figure. This figure only looked like a human, but it was actually a dragon. A two-headed dragon. His body was covered in scales, and his two dragon heads were incomparably ferocious. Obviously, he was a prodigy of the nest of 10,000 dragons. The last one was a woman. A huge qilin pattern crawled across half of her body. Her gaze also pierced through the sea of fire and looked into the distance. Is this that guy? He actually wants to get his hands on the fire spirit pearl. What a reckless thing! The two-headed dragon of the nest of 10,000 dragons also sneered. However, in the next moment they frowned. In the distance, many people even screamed. Behind them, Lin Xian took a few steps and suddenly became extremely fast. He seemed to have transformed into a golden sword light, piercing through the purple sea of fire. That speed was shocking. As a result, the pupils of the Black Tiger clan, Silver clan, and Stone clan's prodigies all constricted. They were all stopped previously and couldn't move forward at all. They could only resist here. However, Lin Xian actually surpassed them in an instant, reaching deeper into the sea of fire. Could it be that this kid wanted to die? Impossible! His body definitely couldn't withstand it. These people roared crazily. However, Lin Xian's speed didn't slow down at all. In fact, it became even faster. Because at this moment, not only did he activate the 9-yang divine body, but he also activated the great dragon sword soul. Terrifying sword energy formed on his body. The terror of the great dragon sword soul obliterated everything. The purple flames couldn't hurt him at all. Therefore, very soon, Lin Xian arrived at the depths of the purple sea of fire. Damn brat, he actually had such ability. In the depths of the sea of fire, the three figures frowned. The two-headed dragon snorted coldly. The woman from the fire qilin cave also frowned. She looked up at Fan Yuntian and said coldly, "How about this? With the two of us here, you won't be able to get the fire spirit pearl. Why don't you help me block that kid, and I can give you other benefits?" "What benefits?" Fan Yuntian asked with a frown. Indeed, he didn't have much confidence in facing two primordial prodigies. "I'll give you a 5,000-year-old earth core flame." Hearing this, Fan Yuntian's pupils constricted, then he smiled. "You said it. Don't worry, as long as you block him, I'll give you a wisp. It's about the size of a finger." The woman from the fire qilin cave said in a deep voice. "Don't worry, I have a grudge with this kid and wanted to get rid of him." Fan Yuntian smiled. Chapter 2943. Although he could not obtain the fire spirit pearl, to be able to obtain a portion of the 5,000-year-old earth core flame was also extremely good to him. The next moment, he turned around and walked outside. Very soon, he welcomed Lin Xian and blocked Lin Xian. When those people outside saw this scene, they exclaimed in shock. 5 Elements Palace's previous generation holy son, Fan Yuntian. He actually made a move. Was he going to intercept Lin Xian? Heavens, I saw that there seemed to be 2 people inside. Who were those 2 people? No idea. But this Lin Xian was most likely doomed. Yes, that Fan Yuntian was so terrifying. Just relying on his own divine ability, he could enter and exit the purple fire sea calmly. He was definitely one of the pinnacle prodigies. This Lin Xian absolutely could not block it. Definitely, Lin Xian was just a little stronger physically. But in terms of divine abilities, he was not Fan Yuntian's match at all. Far away, those people were discussing animatedly. They naturally knew about the grudge between Lin Xian and 5 Elements Palace. Facing off against Lin Xian, Fan Yuntian absolutely would not show mercy. "You're that Lin Xian, right?" Gutsy, actually still having ideas about the fire spirit pearl. "Do you think that you have the qualifications?" Fan Yuntian's voice was icy cold. "Are you trying to intercept me?" Lin Xian frowned. "Didn't expect that you're actually working for primordial creatures. Really shameful." Just now, when Fan Yuntian came out, he brought along an endless sea of fire. Lin Xian saw that those 2 figures were not humans but primordial creatures. He did not expect that this Fan Yuntian actually reached an agreement with two primordial creatures. Looks like he should have obtained some benefits from the other party. Kid, don't talk nonsense. Even if there are no primordial creatures, I'll still kill you. Do you really think that those things that you did to my Five Elements Palace previously, I can let you leave alive? Speaking up to here, his eyes erupted with piercing cold killing intent. So, you want to stand up for Five Elements Palace? When Lin Xian heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. However, do you have the qualifications to do so? What an insolent brat! I can't help but want to tear you to shreds. Fan Yuntian's originally handsome face had a trace of malevolence. He was the holy son of the previous generation. He was very powerful and had entered the invincible king realm 50 years ago. Now, it had completely stabilized, and even reached a higher level. Among the younger generation, there were not many who were his match. Previously, he had been able to enter the sea of purple flames and compete with the geniuses of the ancient theocrats. This was enough to prove how terrifying his strength was. However, this kid in front of him actually dared to look down on him. This even made him feel unreal. Tear me to shreds? I'm afraid you don't have that ability. Lin Xian's expression also darkened. Let me give you a piece of advice. Get out of my way. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Reckless guy. Anyone who dares to say such things to me has already gone to hell. You are no exception. The killing intent on Fan Yuntian's body completely spread out. He hooked his finger, and the surrounding flames immediately spread out, turning into extremely terrifying flame beasts that charged forward. In an instant, 5 flame beasts were formed, and they were incomparably ferocious. Buzz! Lin Xian used the yin-yang 8 steps, and like a phantom, he instantly dodged the attacks of the 5 flame beasts and appeared in another direction. Your speed is quite fast. It's beyond my expectations. However, do you think you can escape from me? Fan Yuntian was not angry when his attack missed. Instead, he revealed an even more cruel smile. At this moment, his body was covered in flames, and he was like a flame god of war, releasing a biting cold aura. I want to escape. Are you an idiot? It's obvious that your attack speed is too slow, and you can't hit me at all. Lin Xian fiercely counterattacked. 9 suns divine fire spread out from his body, and he was like a fire god. His voice boomed like thunder. It made people's faces turn pale. What a sharp-tongued brat. Let's see if your strength is as good as your mouth. If you don't have the ability, then die. Fan Yuntian had completely lost his patience. He formed a seal with his palms, and the surrounding sea of fire surged as if it had come to life. In an instant, another 8 purple beasts appeared. Each of them was incomparably huge, as if they were real beasts. They surrounded Lin Xian. Die! With a furious roar, these flame beasts completely exploded, and boundless energy engulfed Lin Xian. How terrifying! This move could directly kill an invincible king. Yes, as expected of Fan Yuntian. He was too terrifying. He could definitely compete with the top 10,000 ancient races. The human race actually had such a prodigy. It was truly terrifying. In the distance, those people were discussing animatedly. Even the primordial prodigies had solemn expressions. Indeed, they did not expect the human race to have such a terrifying prodigy. It seemed that they had still underestimated the human race. After so many years of reproduction, the human race had produced many powerhouses, and there were even more prodigies. It was just that many of them had not appeared before. Now that it was gradually revealed, the strength of some people truly shocked them. For example, Fan Yuntian in front of them could actually control the purple flames. This was something that even they could not do. It's just a mere flame. What can it do to me? In the violent energy in front of them, a cold roar sounded. Following that, a wisp of sword light appeared and split all the flame beasts apart. Lin Xian strode out. The light on his body was still as bright as before, and he did not receive any damage. Is this all you've got? If that's all you have, then you can get lost. Lin Xian shouted coldly. That attack just now was just a casual attack. I didn't even use half of my strength. Next I'll show you my true strength. Accompanied by Fan Yuntian's voice, a purple fist blasted out. Fist of fire. The purple sea of fire surged and turned into a purple vermilion bird. It tore through the void and charged forward. Feeling the phantom of the purple vermilion bird, the people in the distance were terrified, and their souls trembled. It was too terrifying. Even though they were so far away from this punch, they were still terrified. One could imagine how terrifying the attack Lin Xian was facing was. I'm not afraid of you. Lin Xian also waved his hand and charged forward. In an instant, the battle between the two erupted. The entire sea of fire turned into a purple vortex, and endless energy spread out from the vortex. Not good, retreat. The prodigies of the Black Tiger tribe, Stone tribe, and Silver tribe who were still holding on in the sea of fire also frantically retreated. They were already on the verge of collapse, and now with the addition of the violent energy, they could not stay any longer. Some of them were even slower and were directly pierced by the energy. Blood splattered everywhere, and they evaporated before they hit the ground. In the midst of the violent energy, Lin Xian's expression was cold. He had to admit that Fang Yutian was quite strong. He was not weaker than King Qiyu. Chapter 2944. However, he did not have the time to waste on Fang Yutian. There were two figures in front of him, and they seemed to be trying to get the fire spirit pearl. If they succeeded, it would be troublesome. Therefore, he had to end this quickly. He had to get rid of Fan Yuntian first, and then snatch the fire spirit pearl from the two primordial elites. I wanted to play with you, but I don't have time to deal with you now. Lin Xian's eyes turned sharp. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared out, and the purple flames around him surged like waves, crashing in all directions. Behind him, 8 purple fire dragons formed and spewed out in all directions. They intertwined and formed a picture of a fire dragon. The great dragon sword soul? Fan Yutian frowned. He knew that Fan Yutian not only had the 9 yang divine body, but also the great dragon sword soul. Feeling the sharp aura, he was sure that Fan Yutian had activated the great red dragon sword soul. It really made people envious. Fan Yutian snorted in his heart, and his eyes turned red. He wanted to kill Fan Yutian and snatch his great dragon sword soul. Fan Yutian could not believe that such a precious treasure was obtained by Fan Yutian. Well, since you're in a hurry to die, I'll show you my trump card. Fan Yutian's face was ferocious, and endless flames emerged from his body, turning into flaming lotuses that bloomed in the air. Earth-shattering heavenly lotus. Countless lotuses gathered in the sky, and they flickered continuously. A terrifying fiery aura spread out. It made people tremble. What shocked them even more was that there were shadows within the lotuses, as if they were trying to break free. What are those? Seeing those shadows, many people were terrified. Even the primordial elites felt a chill run down their spines. They felt that a peerless beast was about to crawl out. Even Lin Xian could feel the aura. Immediately, he frowned. He had to admit that Fan Yutian's method was very powerful, and even he felt threatened. Humph! He snorted, and the great dragon sword soul in his body was completely activated. The 8 fire dragons behind him let out deafening roars. Every time they turned their bodies, the void would shatter. It was too terrifying. These 8 fire dragons were like real dragons, making people tremble. Even the 2-headed dragon, who was in the deepest part of the sea of purple flames, frowned. A piercingly cold light burst out from his eyes. Damn it, this brat actually dared to use the mystical ability of the dragon race. It wasn't only him. The woman from the Fire Qilin cave also frowned. That was because the 8 fire dragons were becoming more and more powerful, as if they were going to break through the heavens and earth. In front of him, Fan Yutian was also frowning. No, he couldn't let his opponent's aura grow any stronger. Otherwise, he might not be able to withstand it. Therefore, he quickly attacked. Go to hell, brat! Shao Chen threw a palm strike, and the fire lotuses in the sky charged forward together with the mysterious illusions. Even invincible kings couldn't withstand this attack. Lin Xian also waved his arm. Following his sword light, the 8 fire dragons behind him roared ferociously and charged forward. Boom! Boundless power exploded, like a sea wave that covered the sky, sweeping in all directions. The fire lotuses in the sky were shattered by the 8 fire dragons, and countless cracks appeared. Those mysterious phantoms also disappeared along with him. No! Damn it! How can you be so powerful? Fan Yuntian's expression changed for the first time. He didn't expect his mystical ability to be broken by his opponent. How can the 8 fire dragons be so powerful? I've said it before. With your strength, you don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. Lin Xian quickly charged over. He stepped on the 8 fire dragons and attacked like a fiend god. Damn it! It was the power of the dragon sword soul! Fan Yuntian exclaimed. He realized that he had underestimated the power of the dragon sword soul. Therefore, he wanted to escape now. However, how could Lin Xian let him escape? With a stomp of his foot, the 8 fire dragons under his feet coiled and enveloped the entire world. Stay here! Lin Xian's palm transformed into a golden mountain of flames and descended from the sky, wanting to suppress Fan Yuntian. Damn it! Fire element fist, block it! He struck out with the fire element fist again, and a vast fist resisted. However, it was shattered in an instant. Blood splattered everywhere, dyeing the sea of flames red. Ah! Fan Yuntian screamed. His fist was shattered, but this was just the beginning. In the next moment, he was sent flying by a sword. His body was also split in half. No! Fan Yuntian was terrified. At the same time, he was very decisive. He used the blood that flowed out to draw lotus flowers again and quickly burned them as he rushed into the distance. Soon, he tore through the sky and escaped. What? This guy burned the power of his bloodline? Oh heavens, he's running away! Was Lin Xian so powerful? No one expected the 5 Elements Palace's saint from 2 generations ago to burn his bloodline and escape in a panic after exchanging a few blows. This scene was really beyond their expectations. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. He looked at the other party's fleeing figure and didn't chase after him. It was too late. He had to hurry and snatch the fire spirit pearl. His body swayed, and he stepped on 8 fire dragons as he quickly charged into the depths of the purple sea of flames. Damn it, he actually lost. What a piece of trash. He couldn't even hold on for such a short time. In the depths of the sea of flames, the 2-headed dragon and the woman from the Fire Qilin cave looked gloomy. Especially the prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave. She was very dissatisfied. She originally thought that this human prodigy could help her solve a problem. She didn't expect him to run away. Long Ao, help me. After it's done, I'll give you something of equal value in exchange. This fire spirit pearl is very useful to me. The 2-headed dragon pondered for a moment, and then said, Okay, but I want you to give me a Qilin stone. Qilin stone? The prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave was furious. Damn it, this guy was really asking for too much. The Qilin stone's value was no less than the fire spirit pearl in front of her. Moreover, this stone was only available in the Qilin cave. It was a stone that was transformed from the ground when they were born. It could be said to be very precious. However, this fire spirit pearl was indeed very important to her. Therefore, the woman nodded and said, Okay, I'll give you a piece. Deal. The 2-headed dragon's lips curled into a smile. In the next moment, his body swayed and he rushed out. Let me deal with him. As he moved, the surrounding sea of flames kept shaking and spreading to both sides. In the end, it formed a vacuum. Terrifying dragon silhouettes dashed out from the sky. Accompanying them was a power that made one's soul tremble. Damn it, did someone come out again? Everyone had just recovered from the shock of Fan Yuntian's defeat when they trembled again. Even the primordial prodigies looked as if they had seen a ghost. They screamed. The prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons had attacked. Chapter 29:45. What? The geniuses of the nest of 10,000 dragons? They finally made a move. This time, everyone screamed. Even the geniuses of the human race were facing a great enemy. Nest of 10,000 dragons. The legendary dragon race, their geniuses, had finally made a move? They wondered how powerful they were. Just from this aura alone, it had already surpassed Fang Yuntian's. Nest of 10,000 dragons, dragon race? Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He stopped, stepped on the 8 fire dragons, and looked ahead. Kid, get lost. This is not a place you can touch. The 2-headed dragon said coldly. Someone said that to me just now. However, he has already been beaten away by me. Why? Do you want to follow in his footsteps? Humph, don't compare me to that trash. Let me tell you, if I make a move, you have no way to survive. I will send you on your way now. The 2-headed dragon made a move. He was very decisive because in his opinion, killing the other party was no different from crushing an ant. As he stretched out his palm, a terrifying dragon roar sounded between heaven and earth. The surrounding sea of fire also followed his movements, turning into purple dragons that rushed forward. In the distance, those people gasped as they looked at the scene in front of them in horror. It was too terrifying. Just a casual palm strike was enough to create such a heaven-defying phenomenon. Was this the power of the dragon race? It was really shocking. In the sky, 18 purple flame dragons twisted in the air, roaring and emitting shocking energy fluctuations. Roar! Then they tore through the void towards Lin Xian, wanting to tear Lin Xian into pieces. Destroy! Lin Xian roared as the divine flames on his body bloomed, turning into a long flame sword that he held in his hand. With a slash of the sword cut through all directions. The sky was filled with sword light. Boom! 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 It collided with the 18 purple fire dragons in the sky. Boom! Boom! A huge explosion occurred in the void as endless flames surged into the sky. The 18 purple fire dragons roared non-stop, turning into a sea of fire that descended. Lin Xian's sword light also slowly faded and disappeared between heaven and earth. In the distance, everyone was terrified. This attack was simply too terrifying. Both of them were top-notch geniuses. Lin Xian stood in the void, his eyes flickering. It had to be said that this double-headed dragon was very powerful. It was even above Fang Yuntian. His opponent was actually able to block it. His sword light had indeed surprised him. No wonder you were able to defeat Fang Yuntian. He had some strength. The 2-headed dragon also nodded slightly. However, it's still not enough to deal with me. That palm strike just now was just a casual strike of mine. Next, I will use my full strength. Can you block it? As he spoke, his eyes were filled with disdain. When these words were spoken, the martial artists in the distance were shocked. Heavens, was it really just a casual attack? The dragon race was truly formidable. Even those archaic paragons felt their scalps tingling. Is that so? That sword strike just now was just a casual strike of mine. You being able to block it is nothing to be proud of. Lin Xian's expression was also calm. Humph! You are indeed a stubborn brat. I know that you possess the great dragon sword soul. However, even if he had the great dragon sword soul, you are also no match for me. Brat, let me give you a piece of advice. If you want to live, kneel down obediently and offer up your great dragon sword soul. How can an ant like you be worthy of the great dragon sword soul? Only the dragon race is worthy of it. As he spoke, the aura on the 2-headed dragon's body became fierce again. Purple dragons circled around him and roared continuously. Their voices shook heaven and earth. Boom! Another palm strike came. This time, in addition to the terrifying purple flames, there was also monstrous lightning that filled the sky within the flames. Obviously, the power of this palm strike was greatly increased compared to before. In the distance, the paragons were terrified. They were already unable to withstand the previous palm strike. Now they were even less of a match for this palm strike. Most likely, no one present would be able to stop him. That brat was really dead. You're welcome. That was a divine beast of heaven and earth. How could a human fight against it? In their opinion, this time, Lin Xian was bound to lose. Humph! Divine Nine Sun's fist! Lin Xian shouted coldly and waved his fist. The Divine Nine Sun's fire completely erupted and transformed into a golden crow that rushed forward. Otherwise, the great dragon sword soul in his body rumbled and transformed into streaks of sword light that erupted with blazing light. He also slashed out. This time, Lin Xian was furious. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The purple flames and lightning palm were blasted away by the punch. The remaining energy was shattered into pieces by the sword chi that filled the sky. Not only that, the fist and sword chi attacked the two-headed dragon in a fierce manner. This time, the two-headed dragon's expression darkened. Previously, the other party was able to block its casual attack. It did not think much of it, but this time, it was surprised. This time, its strength had increased. In its opinion, the other party should not be able to block it. However, it did not expect the other party to not only block it, but also attack it so powerfully. Damned brat, I will skin you alive with my own hands. I will extract the great dragon sword soul from your body. Buzz! He snorted coldly, and a red saber rushed out from between his eyebrows and was held in his hand. The saber was extremely terrifying. It emitted a monstrous, murderous aura. As soon as it appeared, it swept in all directions. It caused everyone's souls to tremble, and many people knelt on the ground. Damn it, the flood dragon saber! It's made of the bones of a flood dragon. Moreover, it's probably a very terrifying flood dragon. Many archaic creatures screamed in fear. It was a terrifying half-step sacred artifact. Boom! The saber slashed down, and flames surged in the sky. The terrifying saber light tore through the sky and split the earth. This time, it was even more terrifying. Obviously, the two-headed dragon was furious. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his hands, and the Divine Nine Sun's fire combined with the great dragon sword soul quickly appeared in front of him. A large bronze bell appeared. The bell was very simple and unadorned, and runes covered it. Although it was just an illusion, it seemed to be a real divine artifact. It carried a monstrous aura. Clang! A terrifying sound rang out, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Flower Protector! Damn it, he summoned a terrifying killing weapon, Flower Protector. These people screamed in fear. Flower Protector was a famous killing weapon in ancient times. Once Flower Protector was used, it could kill 9 heavens and 10 earths. Lin Xian was too confident. He had Flower Protector, but he didn't take it out. He was just relying on his ability. Did he think that the divine ability he summoned could contend against the other party's treasured saber? Screams sounded one after another, and the two-headed dragon's face darkened. To be honest, the bronze bell that appeared in the sky also gave him a feeling of fear and trepidation. Especially that sound wave, even his soul shook a little. Buzz! Buzz! Boom! The terrifying sound wave and the terrifying saber light collided in the sky, erupting with dazzling divine light. Chapter 2946. In the end, both of them vanished into thin air. He blocked it again. Many people exclaimed. The two-headed dragon's face was gloomy. Lin Xian stepped into the air. His voice was cold. Next, I'll let you have a taste of my divine power. He raised his palm, and the sword chi in the sky intertwined, turning into a black steel that descended from the sky. Suppress it. The steel emitted a thick demonic chi that made people tremble. Heavens, the great dragon sword soul was too terrifying. Everything it evolved was incomparably real. Nonsense! That was an offensive sacred art of heaven and earth. Whoever obtained it would definitely be an incomparably terrifying existence. Lin Xian was really terrifying. Many people were terrified and envious. Although they didn't know what the other party had evolved this time, the terror was definitely not inferior to the Flower Protector. What Lin Xian had evolved this time was the terrifying demonic steel in Black Demon Cliff. At this moment, it descended from the sky and could really suppress everything. Boom! The two-headed dragon couldn't reach it in time. He was blasted by the black demonic steel and fell into the flames. With a boom, the ground trembled. The huge demonic steel pressed down on his body. The dragon's scales on his back dimmed and even shattered. Dragon blood dyed the void red. Ah! Damn it! I'm going to kill you! I must kill you! The two-headed dragon screamed crazily. His eyes were bloodshot. He was injured. He was actually injured by the other party. Moreover, at this moment, he was being pressed to the ground by the other party. This kind of humiliation was unbearable. Boom! He roared, and the dragon blood in his body surged, forming a powerful force that shattered the black demonic steel above him. He stood up and charged towards Lin Xian. Like a red hurricane, the frenzied blade in his hand was even more powerful. This time, he was completely enraged. Moreover, he had the intention to kill. As a prodigy of the dragon race, he was extremely powerful. Usually, no one dared to challenge him. The other ancient royal family members had to be respectful when they saw him. But now, he had been injured by a mere human. Moreover, so many people saw it. If he didn't kill the other party, how could he establish himself in the future? Whoosh! The saber slashed down like a peerless wild saber. Together with the flames that filled the sky and the terrifying lightning, its power was shocking. This saber strike could cut down invincible kings. Lin Xian used his yin-yang 8 steps and shifted his position, instantly dodging the sword. A terrifying black hole appeared where he had been standing, swallowing the purple flames. Brat, you can't escape. No matter where you run to, you will definitely die today. The double-headed dragon was brimming with killing intent. His body had also become 3 times larger than before. The two heads emitted a terrifying light. One of its heads was surrounded by flames, while the other head was surrounded by lightning. Lightning and fire intertwined, providing him with powerful energy. Annihilation cut. Another slash came. This time, he used the power of his bloodline. In the sky, the power of lightning and fire intersected. Together with the power of the bloodline, they turned into a shocking rainbow that slashed down from the sky. The surrounding space froze. Everyone's bodies trembled, unable to dodge at all. They could only crawl on the ground. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was not afraid at all. He let out a long laugh. He reached out with both hands and grabbed upward. It seemed that he wanted to take the saber strike with his bare hands. Heavens! In the distance, everyone exclaimed in disbelief. You're courting death. Do you think that your 9-yang divine body can block my saber strike? What a joke! The double-headed dragon kept roaring. The dragon blood on his body emitted a terrifying aura. Lin Xian roared. Mysterious runes appeared on his body one after another, and the 9-yang divine fire burned fiercely. His body shone brightly, making him look like a golden god of war. His palms were incomparably resplendent, carrying with them a supreme power as they blasted forward. Clang! Many of the geniuses' ears bled, and many of them fainted. The flames on Lin Xian's body were torn apart. The terrifying saber light hit his body, making clanging sounds. White traces were left behind. However, it did not break his body. This scene shocked everyone. Not only that, Lin Xian even put his palms together, grabbed his opponent's long saber, and swung it forcefully. Get the hell out of here! His attack could shatter 100,000 mountains. Although the double-headed dragon was from the dragon clan, had a strong physique, and the power of his bloodline was even more powerful. However, under Lin Xian's heaven-defying divine power, his long saber was snatched away. They kept arguing in the sky, Lin Xian's eyes burst with a piercing cold light, which turned into two sword lights and blasted on the long saber. Boom! The long saber dimmed. In the next moment, Lin Xian grabbed the hilt and slashed at the double-headed dragon. Roar! The long saber let out a terrifying roar. Lin Xian's great dragon sword so roared. A mysterious and terrifying power burst out. The saber turned into a giant dragon that was 100 feet long. It descended from the sky and directly enveloped the double-headed dragon. No! The double-headed dragon screamed crazily. His body turned into a giant dragon that was a few 100 feet long and soared into the sky. Thunder and fire surrounded his body, and the power of his bloodline turned into mysterious runes that carried a powerful force. It was as if a divine dragon was fighting against a shocking saber. Boom! Boom! As the saber fell, the sea of fire surged and hundreds of thousands of lightning bolts fell. A terrifying black hole appeared in the void, and a scream was heard. Then, dragon blood floated, and a dragon claw fell from the sky, shattering the void. It fell to the ground, and the surrounding purple sea of fire could not spread at all. In fact, it kept retreating. What? He was injured. The dragon clan's prodigy was injured. The Archean prodigies widened their eyes in disbelief. What did Lin Xian do? Lin Xian cut off a dragon claw with a saber? Was this guy trying to slay a dragon? They were horrified. Lin Xian let out a long howl and kicked the two-headed dragon's head, causing it to fall to the ground. At the same time, he said, "Bruzalong, I'll leave this guy to you. I'll go and get the fire spirit pearl." Ah! Roar! The double-headed dragon kept rolling on the ground. That kick had deformed one of his heads. Many of the scales on his body had also fallen off. He roared crazily, and a series of dragon roars resounded through the world. "Damn brat, I'm going to kill you." He spoke in human language, and the dragon aura on his body surged into the sky, turning into a terrifying light that shot into the clouds. He wanted to soar into the sky and kill Lin Xian. However, in the next moment, a red claw fell from the sky like a red mountain and slapped its head again. Its head that had just healed was deformed again. "Stop running, I'm your opponent." A strange cry sounded in the sky, and the double-headed dragon was furious. "Who is it? Who dares to stop me?" He let out a terrifying roar. At this moment, the dragon might spread, and everyone trembled. That was the suppression of bloodline. However, the voice in the sky was indeed disdainful. "Two-headed kid, how dare you compete with me in terms of dragon might? Do you have a death wish?" As soon as that voice fell, a dragon roar that shocked the 9 heavens and 10 lands sounded. Chapter 29:47. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Even the two-headed dragon was stunned on the spot. Its body began to tremble, and intense fear appeared on its two enormous dragon heads. "Damn it, dragon roar! What pure dragon blood!" The other party's dragon might was actually stronger than his, and it even suppressed him to the point that he could not breathe. "Who is it?" He raised his dragon head with difficulty and looked forward. In the sky, a dark red divine dragon bared its fangs and brandished its claws, looking at him with disdain. "Damn it, it's the snake beside that kid! How could the other party have such a terrifying dragon might?" The others were also stunned. They knew that Lin Xian had a dragon beside him, but they did not expect that dragon's aura to be so terrifying. Could it be that the other party's bloodline power was above that of the primordial paragons of the nest of 10,000 dragons? Thinking of this, they felt dizzy. In the depths of the purple sea of fire, the paragon of the Fire Qilin cave trembled when she heard the terrifying dragon roar, and the blood in her body almost froze. Shock appeared in her eyes. "Damn it, what's going on? Could it be that the two-headed dragon was defeated?" She could not believe it. Also, what's with the dragon roar? Has an even more terrifying paragon of the dragon clan arrived? She turned her head to look. However, in the next moment, she was so scared that her face turned pale as she screamed and dodged. A piercing saber light descended from the sky, tearing apart the divine flames that filled the sky and slashing towards her, wanting to cut her in half. Fortunately, he was strong enough. At the critical moment, he quickly dodged, turning into an afterimage. However, this saber still brushed past her body. Immediately, a strand of hair on her head was cut off, and even her neck felt cold. All the hair on her body stood on end. "Damn it, who is it?" The female paragon screamed crazily, and her eyes turned into two fire chilins that roared in the sky. In the next moment, she was extremely shocked. "Damn kid, it's you!" She saw clearly that it was Lin Xian. It was Lin Xian holding the purple dragon saber and charging over quickly. Damn it, could it be that Long Ao was defeated? He was extremely shocked. That was a two-headed dragon with great strength. How could it be defeated? Previously, he did not observe the battle as she had used all her strength to seize the Fire Spirit Pearl. After all, this Fire Spirit Pearl might be a precious treasure, but it was too terrifying and had to be sealed carefully. Otherwise, she would definitely be burned to a crisp. Therefore, she did not know what was happening outside. At this moment, she probed with her soul spirit, and her face turned gloomy. Outside, Long Ao and a dark red dragon were fighting, but Lin Xian had already arrived in front of her. Damn it, this kid actually has a dragon as a helper. Fan Yuntian and the two-headed dragon have already been defeated. You are the only one left. Do you still want to fight me? Lin Xian looked at the other party. I advise you to leave obediently. As Lin Xian spoke, he released his soul force and scanned the surroundings. He saw that not far from him, there was a fist-sized purple bead that was spinning non-stop. It was covered with mysterious patterns. He could clearly feel that the Fire Spirit Pearl was emitting a terrifying power of flames. The power of the flames caused even his 9-yang divine body to tremble slightly. One could imagine how terrifying it was. No wonder this woman in front of him did not succeed after such a long time. The woman from Fire Qilin Cave snorted. The flames on her body formed a Qilin armor, covering her beautiful body. At the same time, a terrifying light burst out from her eyes. With a wave of her hand, she kept sliding in the sky. The flames in the sky condensed into a terrifying fire Qilin, surging and roaring. You are courting death. Since this is the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Lin Xian shouted coldly. This time, he did not use his divine eye, but took out Flower Protector directly. Now that his 9-yang divine body had reached the small success stage, he was not as careful as before when he used Flower Protector. Sure enough, after taking out Flower Protector, he held it in his hand and shook it non-stop. The terrifying sound waves swept in all directions, and the surrounding purple flames were suppressed and dimmed. Qilin Shield. Seeing this scene, the woman shouted and turned into shields with Qilin patterns engraved on them. There were a total of 8 shields around her, forming a strong defense. Buzz! Lin Xian raised his hand and pushed the great dragon sword soul, sending a wave of energy into Flower Protector. Immediately, Flower Protector enlarged, and the runes on it also spread out. Together with the sound waves, it swept in all directions. The sound waves hit the Qilin shield, making earth-shattering sounds. The terrifying sound waves and the power of the great dragon sword soul worked together to destroy the Qilin shield. In the end, the flames on the Qilin shield dimmed and made cracking sounds. With a bang, 3 Qilin shields shattered, and a hole appeared in the defense of Fire Qilin Cave's prodigy. The sound waves in the sky finally found an opportunity and turned into a torrent, quickly surging in. Damn it! The female prodigy's expression changed. A hint of fear and anger appeared in her eyes. Ah! She screamed, opened her mouth, and spat out a light wave that surged forward. It was a treasured furnace. It was incomparably simple and had a very strange shape. As soon as the treasured furnace came out, it kept enlarging, like a small mountain, spiraling in the sky. At the same time, it attracted countless purple flames to provide energy. Above the treasured furnace, wisps of purple smoke emerged. The purple smoke was like divine swords that could destroy everything. Die for me! The Qilin prodigy roared angrily. The purple sword light slashed toward Lin Xian. The divine might on it was vast and mighty, terrifying everyone. This primordial prodigy really had a lot of treasures in his hands. This purple treasured furnace should also be a half-step sage artifact. Lin Xian snorted coldly, grabbed Flower Protector, and activated his divine power. Flower Protector continued to expand, covering the sky like a giant bronze mountain. Lin Xian waved it and smashed it down. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out, and the terrifying sound waves shook all directions. The purple sword light that filled the sky was shattered. The Qilin prodigy was also sent flying, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Her expression became ferocious. Damn it, damn it! The other party didn't play by the rules at all. That was a half-step sage artifact. Who would use it like that? One had to know that the power of a half-step sage artifact was unfathomable, far surpassing that of a heaven-grade treasure artifact. Some could even emit Tao patterns. That was a supreme killing weapon used in conjunction with a great divine power. But what about this kid in front of her? He didn't use the divine power that a half-step sage artifact should have at all. Instead, he relied on brute force and the hardness of the half-step sage artifact to go on a rampage. This scene was truly driving the woman mad with anger. She tried hard to take a few deep breaths to calm herself down. Once again, she controlled the treasured furnace and quickly attacked. Ha! Lin Xian sneered. I'm not going to play with you anymore. I'm going to collect the fire spirit pearl. At this point, he clapped his hand and took out the saint's hand bone. After tearing open the seal, the saint's aura spread between heaven and earth. Chapter 29:48. Oh no! The Qilin prodigy's expression changed. She did not expect the other party to have the bone of a saint. Humph! She gritted her teeth and shouted. Kid, I admit that I've underestimated you. You actually have such a treasure. But do you think you can stop me with that? You're too naive. Fire Qilin's sword! The female prodigy shouted, opened her mouth, and spat out another flying sword. It was a fiery red flying sword that was about the size of a palm. As soon as it appeared, it kept expanding until she grabbed it in her hand. She waved the long sword gently, and a terrifying sword light slashed in all directions. It was like a peerless immortal light. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He was a peerless swordsman. How could he not be excited when he saw a peerless sword? Previously, he used the ancient dragon abyss sword. Although it was also a treasure, it was only a top-tier heaven-grade artifact. Now, it could not keep up with his strength. Therefore, under normal circumstances, Lin Xian would directly use the Nine Suns' divine fire and transform it into sword qi. In times of danger, he would use the Flower Protector and the Nine-layered pagoda. However, although those two half-sage artifacts were powerful, they could not allow him to unleash 100% of the power of his sword Tao. Now, when he saw the fiery red longsword in the woman's hand, he immediately became interested. This sword suits me very well. He stretched out a large golden hand and grabbed in front of him. You're courting death. The prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She took out that sword to kill the enemy. Who would have thought that the other party would take a fancy to her sword before she even made a move? He even wanted to take it by force. Damn you, I'll chop off your claws! She shouted and waved the Fire Qilin sword, slashing forward. With a clang, she slashed at the golden hand. Sparks flew, and the Fire Qilin sword trembled non-stop. The woman's hand was numb. Lin Xian's palm was also forced back, and there was even a crack on his hand. It can actually injure me. As expected of the sword that I've taken a fancy to. The light in his eyes became even brighter. I must have that sword. He charged forward again. In the sky, countless palm shadows shot out in succession, each one grabbing at the blazing Qilin sword. Be destroyed! The paragon of Fire Qilin Grotto wielded the Fire Qilin sword and slashed in all directions. In an instant, the countless golden palmed shadows were all destroyed. It had to be said that this treasured sword was too powerful. No wonder Lin Xian was moved by it. In fact, the origin of this treasured sword was indeed extraordinary. This blazing Qilin sword was forged using the scales of a blazing Qilin and the 10,000-year starry sky iron. It could be said that it was extremely frightening. It was a well-known existence even among semi-sage tools. After dozens of moves, Lin Xian also frowned. He had to admit that this sword was really too sharp. He had actually destroyed all of the palm prints that he had sent out. There were even 2 more cracks on his palm. It seemed like he had no choice but to use some tricks. Although you have a treasured sword, your sword art is not that good. Next, let me show you what a real sword art is. Lin Xian's expression was ice cold. The divine flames on his body flickered, forming a flaming longsword that he held in his hand. 9 Yang sword art. With a slash of the sword, sparks flew and easily broke the other party's sword chi. The golden sword art and the treasured sword in the other party's hand fought for more than 100 moves. Lin Xian used 9 suns open the sky and directly cut off the other party's arm. Ah! The woman screamed. Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed the blazing Qilin sword like a dragon head. When he grabbed it, the blazing Qilin sword struggled crazily. On the sword, many blazing Qilins appeared and charged at Lin Xian. The distance was very close. In an instant, the blazing Qilin pounced on Lin Xian. With a boom, Lin Xian was sent flying and spat out a mouthful of blood. Buzz! The light in his eyes became brighter and brighter. It was indeed a peerless sword. You can't escape. He reached out his hand again and transformed into 5 giant dragons to seal the fire spirit sword. The blazing Qilin phantoms were forcefully destroyed by his 9 Yang sword chi. In the end, he directly sent out the great dragon sword soul and fused it with the blazing Qilin sword. With a boom, the blazing Qilin sword completely exploded. The terrifying sword chi enveloped the entire sea of fire. At this moment, the people outside were all stunned. Many people were sent flying by a powerful force. They rolled far away and were dumbfounded. Damn it, what happened? What happened in the depths of the sea of fire? The battle inside was too intense. The Crimson Dragon and the 2-headed dragon were still fighting outside. Therefore, they had no idea what was happening to Lin Xian inside. Who was the one who unleashed that sword chi? Was it Lin Xian or Lin Xian's opponent? The 2-headed dragon's eyelids were also twitching. Oh no, could it be that she had failed? I say, don't worry about others, worry about yourself first. The Crimson Dragon laughed sinisterly and charged over again. In the sky, the 2 giant dragons were hundreds of feet long. They were constantly roaring and clashing with each other. The scene of the giant dragons fighting was too terrifying. However, at this moment, everyone's gaze was shocked by the energy in the depths of the sea of fire. Everyone wanted to find out what was going on. In the depths of the sea of fire, Lin Xian held the blazing Qilin sword in his hand and smiled. The great dragon sword soul forcefully infused into it and destroyed the blazing Qilin mark. Now that he had infused the power of the great dragon sword soul into the sword, it completely belonged to him. It really was a good sword. Thank you very much. Lin Xian looked at the other party and smiled. Damn it! The blazing Qilin Sky Pride was about to go crazy. Her broken arm had grown back again, but her heart was bleeding. Such a powerful treasure had actually been snatched away by him. Furthermore, her imprint had been instantly obliterated by him. The mark was not only hers, but also the blazing Qilin sword itself. It could be said that no one below the sage level could destroy it. However, the other party destroyed it so easily. This was completely beyond her knowledge. Let me try the power of the blazing Qilin sword. Lin Xian slowly raised his arm. In the next moment, he activated the great dragon sword soul. Buzz! 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 The blazing Qilin sword trembled and shone brightly. The entire sky was quickly torn apart. Golden sword she circled the 9 heavens. Damn it, how can he unleash such power? On the other side, the blazing Qilin Sky Pride's face was extremely ugly. Even she could not unleash the blazing Qilin sword to such an extent. However, the other party, a human youth, was able to unleash the power of their clan's treasure to such an extent. If she had not seen it with her own eyes, she would not have believed it. Buzz! 9 suns opened the sky. Lin Xian slashed down with his ultimate move, splitting the entire sky in half. The Qilin Sky Pride on the other side screamed and threw out countless Qilin shields to defend herself. She even used the furnace to block in front of her. However, it was useless. The furnace was sent flying and her body was split in half. Chapter 2949. Damn it! The prodigy was so angry that her eyes and ears were on fire. This time, not only did she not get the Fire Spirit Pearl, but she also lost her treasure, the Fire Qilin sword. She swore that she would kill this brat and take back the Fire Qilin sword at all costs, even if she had to use some secret techniques that would harm her body. With a shout, she was enveloped by endless bloodline power. Her body fused together, and her palms quickly formed a seal. The bloodline power burned rapidly. A terrifying aura burst out. "Brat, I won't let you go." Her voice was cold. "Humph." Lin Xian's eyes were intertwined with golden runes, forming a mysterious pattern. He directly attacked. With a puff, the opponent's body was penetrated. This pattern was one of the 3 patterns he had obtained in the Dark Tunnel. It was also the method he used to kill the Red Moon King. This time, it directly drained 1/3 of his soul power. However, Lin Xian did not care about this as he wanted to end the battle quickly. The Fire Qilin prodigy wanted to use a great mystique, but it was instantly shattered. The power of that rune had nearly destroyed her soul. She screamed in fear and did not dare to fight with him again. She quickly fled, turning into a stream of light. Damn it, she actually ran away? How could this be? The 2-headed dragon sensed this and was stunned. He did not expect the prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave to escape. What the hell is going on? Could it be that the brat had already reached such a terrifying level? He did not dare to imagine. After defeating the prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave, Lin Xian did not chase after her. He also did not join forces with the Crimson Dragon to kill the 2-headed dragon. He turned around and looked at the Fire Spirit Pearl not far away. Right now, the most important thing was to collect this Fire Spirit Pearl to prevent any undue delay. Taking a deep breath, he put away the Fire Qilin sword and flower protector. The energy in his body kept surging. Previously, the female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave had spent so much time but still failed to get the Fire Spirit Pearl. One could imagine how terrifying the Fire Spirit Pearl was. Thus, he had to be careful. Buzz! His 9 young divine constitution and dragon sword souls circulated together, enveloping his palm and turning it into a dragon head. He grabbed forward. With one grab, it covered the Fire Spirit plant. Buzz! Caught! Lin Xian was delighted. However, in the next moment, his pupils abruptly constricted and his expression changed. This was because the moment he grabbed the Fire Spirit Pearl, the Fire Spirit Pearl in his palms suddenly trembled at an extremely fast speed. It was as if 100,000 volcanoes were rumbling. Boom! His palm instantly exploded and turned into a bloody mist. Not good! Lin Xian's expression changed. His 9 young divine body was actually injured. Just because of a single strike from the other party. It was too terrifying. How much energy did this Fire Spirit Pearl contain? 1. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian used a magical incantation to heal his broken hand. Wrapped in dragon-shaped sword energy, he reached out again. Boom! Boom! At the instant he grabbed it, the terrifying power once again spread through his body, causing his palm to split open once again. Hold your ground! Lin Xian roared, pushing his 9 young divine body to the limit. This time, although cracks appeared on the palm, it did not explode into a bloody mist. Be destroyed. Seeing this scene, the great dragon sword radiance in his body surged out crazily, turning into sword energy that exploded from his palm, bombarding the fire spirit pearl, trying to subdue it. However, the fire spirit pearl was too terrifying. The mysterious runes on it flickered, and wisps of purple flames surged out, resisting the sword energy. Not only that, but the power also spread through Lin Xian's body through his hand. Crack! 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 Countless cracks appeared on his 9-yang divine body. At this moment, he was like a broken porcelain doll, about to collapse at any moment. If the people outside saw this scene, they would definitely scream in horror. They had never seen Lin Xian suffer such serious injuries. Even when he was fighting with King Redfeather, his body did not collapse to such an extent. Damn it, be destroyed! Lin Xian's eyes widened, his eyes red. Although his body was broken, he still did not let go. The 9-yang divine fire and the great dragon sword soul kept intertwining, turning into seals, trying to seal the fire spirit pearl. However, this fire spirit pearl was too terrifying. He did not know who left it behind. He did not know what grade it was. Lin Xian guessed that no one among the invincible kings would be able to subdue it. Probably only a saint would be able to do it. Did he really have to give up this thing? Lin Xian shook his head. He was unwilling, but the power coming from it was too terrifying. Especially the runes on the fire spirit pearl. They were like Tao runes, emitting a mysterious power. Even if those sect leaders came, they might not be able to seal it. Lin Xian sighed. He was unwilling. Although he knew it was dangerous, Lin Xian still did not let go. He roared, shaking the 9 heavens. The 9-yang divine body and the great dragon sword soul were stimulated by him, and they even began to burn the 9-yang divine fire. The great dragon sword soul was wrapped in a ball of divine fire, burning fiercely. Lin Xian's body was covered in flames. However, the fire spirit pearl seemed to have been stimulated. With a bang, the runes on it exploded again. Suddenly, the entire sea of fire surged, and countless large cracks spread out from the depths of the sea of fire. The Crimson Dragon and the Two-Headed Dragon, who were fighting outside, were instantly sent flying. Both of them vomited dragon blood. Damn it, what happened? The Two-Headed Dragon was terrified, and the Crimson Dragon was also worried. Kid, are you okay? There was no reply, only Lin Xian's angry roar. The geniuses and primordial geniuses who were watching the battle from afar were also sent flying by the energy. Many people's bodies directly cracked, and they screamed crazily. Retreat, retreat quickly. They did not dare to stay at the edge anymore and directly pushed to the 5th floor. Some even pushed to the 3rd and 2nd floor. However, it was not safe. The entire flaming pagoda was shaking and could break at any time. It was as if it was really going to collapse. Run quickly. The humans and primordial geniuses fled one after another and completely left the flaming pagoda. They fled outside and looked at the pagoda in front of them in horror, trembling. Damn it, what happened at the end of the day? The Crimson Dragon wanted to rush to the 6th floor to rescue Lin Xian, but he was directly blasted out by a force. This made him gnash his teeth in anger. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were also very nervous. They did not go to the 6th floor. Instead, they went to other places to look for opportunities. Both of them had gained a lot, but at this moment, they were chased out by the flames. What happened? They asked the Crimson Dragon. When they learned that Lin Xian was in danger, the two of them were very nervous. No, they had to save Big Brother Lin Xian. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were about to force their way into the flaming pagoda. However, a terrifying power and purple vein patterns blocked their path. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.